Hey everyone. So today we are doing something slightly differently. I am also very aware if I pick out or not, because that's switching to this. So we have background music. So yesterday we did get patch notes for this game. So for once, I'm doing the scariest thing that is matchable. We gotta go through it. Maybe partially because I'm cool and sponsored. So I will go to the balance changes and also basically what they announced for the next season that starts like in a week. Yippee! New content in my video game, and then we will play the trauma code for Gacha, which I kind of look forward to. Since I would say story so far in this game also kinda mid. Reminds me of another gacha game I've been playing lately. But the trauma codes were the good part of it. So we got more of them like already like 2 weeks ago. But there's a lot of updates in my gacha game, so getting to them is kinda hard, not gonna lie. That is the other thing we will be doing. And to just also have this set here, because I'm gonna cut this up later, probably. I am sponsored by Smilegate. They're pretty cool. I would say so, at least. I mean, so I might be also slightly biased in my opinions, but they're also gonna be all positive. So, you know, I will glaze them probably more than your normal mortal, but I will still criticize them. And yeah, oh yeah, every time I click out, we lose music since all the gacha games do that. You better listen to Twessa. Okay, so yeah, this is the balance changes, and then we go to the other updates. So first big change is that basically They will make it easier to grind, which is, you will also see in the seasonal changes, which is very nice. It's so much more reliable to farm than for save data. You can basically more or less choose who gets dupes, and we even get an item for Epiphany rerolls and stuff like that, which is amazing. It will come with the caveat, which I will hit later on, that I feel like we're moving more and more away from a roguelike game, which I still like deck builders, but that is the disappointing part, and I will talk about that later. But in itself, saves data adjustments like this, amazing. Because also, I get it, nobody loves grinding over and over again, just wanting the deck they actually want to make and not getting the right cards and everything. And it is also a pain in the ass to track your points. So that is kinda the first big change here. I guess this is just the pre-text about it. But yeah, it did take a lot of effort tracking the points, so they're gonna simplify that a bit. And yeah, they also justify it with, yeah, they also understand that instead of playing basically the roguelike, I kind of talked about this with Mestizo, and I very much share the feeling with him. I think he shares the feeling with me, if I phrase it like this. That basically, if you go into a Chaos one, you always kinda do the same thing. You want to basically force the same deck on whoever you're deck building for, instead of, you know, doing the actual roguelike thing of, you know, choosing what is the best for your one right now, because that can really differ from the later save game you would want outside of the Chaos for the actual endgame content. I really wish we just always get more roguelike content instead of the outside content. I would still say the strength of the game lies in the Chaos, not in something like Basin or the Tower. And, you know, I do enjoy Chaos. I'm not sure I'm a Basin fan. Not gonna lie, this month's Basin, I guess, or the resets or whatever you want to call it, I am quite blessed in the sense that I have a powerful team set up at this point, but I just did auto to them. Okay, I don't want them to make them harder. I would like that I can keep autoing to them, because it's also an enjoyable content for me to do manually. But yeah, I don't enjoy doing it manually. But back to that before I kinda yap too much about something else. So they do adjust how save data works. I don't think they mentioned actually what they're gonna do with old save data. I'm not sure there's really anything drastically, since I don't think you could really do anything breaking the new rules beforehand. But the new rules, which we'll go over, are so much nicer in creating decks and more consistent and easier to remember. So let's go basically over that. Firstly, save data will be calculated, or if I mark something, I lose music. I should have just maybe got the background music in Fubao or something. Yeah, save data value will be calculated based on additional elements acquired beyond a base save data consisting of 8 cards made up of uniquely obtainable starting cards and epiphany cards. Okay, this is not that important yet, but it's basically, it will be easier to calculate since it just goes off what you add to your deck and everything. Neutral cards are calculated at a fixed value regardless of whether they have epiphany or not. Yippee! If you don't know, basically in the past, they did cost like 10 more points if they actually got an epiphany on them, which means sometimes you really desperately would not want your neutral card to get an epiphany, otherwise you are passing to your budget and now a card you remove is back in your deck and something like that. My epiphanies will still cost 20 points, that is unchanged. So this is still interesting, a big trade-off. I feel like Divine Epiphanies or neutral cards are kind of most of the time more on the weak side. But since this is now very controllable if you even pick up a Divine Epiphany or not on it. And there's still also reasons to go for it. So that costing points is alright with me. And, it's just one thing to maybe avoid if you care about leaner decks, which I feel is still the way to go in this game. Just remember, if you have a Divine Epiphany on a neutral card, it comes at still a huge plus to the points. Now, something I'm really, really looking forward to seeing is that monster cards are categorized into common, rare, legendary tiers, and they will now be valued at 20, 50, or 80 points, depending on the tier they're in. Beforehand, they always cost 80 points, so you basically could never really keep them in any save file outside of the chaos. Now we have actually so much more we can deck build around. Now, it's still very unrealistic to ever include a legendary card. That's fair. The rare cards also kinda hard to fit into your budget, but maybe, and maybe there will be good cases for it. Common cards at 20, that is very easy to actually accommodate. I guess the only thing is if they, and that's how I'm so happy that the legendaries at least are still at 80 points, is like if the monster cards become too meta basically and people start chasing them, then we are back at an awful situation where grinding for the optimal save game takes so long, because I guess there's that one fate at the beginning of a Chaos one you can pick to, I feel like, or maybe I'm high now, but I think there's one fate to guarantee monster card. But even then, that's still a lot of randomness to even get the right monster and everything. So yeah, it is a neat addition. I'm looking forward to having more options. I just hope this does not become meta, because this will be too much of a pain in the ass to grind. Okay, not a huge thing. Points awarded for card application will change from 0, 10, 30 to 0, 0, 40 points. Now, if you just dupe twice, this is amazing. Now, there's a lot of decks that want to dupe twice, so we just eat the 40 points then, but honestly, otherwise, this is just straight up nicer for most decks, and like, there is no harm in any of this. If you really dupe twice, you still pay the same amount of points, nobody cares. Second dupe is Fido, nice. And also the card removal, nice. Moving cards other than starting cards does not grant points. Each removed starting card is valued at 20 points. Transforming a card is also treated as removal. Okay, transforming a card being treated as removal is basically a nerf. If you didn't know beforehand, if you removed a base card and yeah, if you transformed it before you remove it, you basically paid less of a cost. And then there was also just some transformed cards that auto-deleted themselves. Which, I guess everyone that played actually Lab Zero does know how it worked, because we have been grinding the shit out of that during the event, and we were looking for that one event to turn our card into a monster sample. Then, which is a bit sad, limits will be added to remove and application. It is always said that, there are restrictions on how far you can go with your deck. I do understand we need to balance the game around something, but I'm still an advocate of more woke-likeness and stuff like that. And to be fair, this will be only for the save data afterwards, but still, I feel like the strength of a game like this is that you just keep cooking and break the game. I would like to, take it more into more game modes, basically. But I also will very much accept that those limits are limits that you basically did not reach beforehand anyways, before the new changes now to make everything nicer to grind and more accessible. So, yep. Her save data duplication is limited to a maximum of 4 times. Right now, honestly, I don't know how you right now would even have hit the 4 times. Maybe it's because I'm too lab 0 trained and there's another chaos where you actually can get higher, but even then it would be 4, not 5 or something like that. Because I know basically lab 0, you get 1 tube for both bosses, so that's 2, and then 1 tube event if you're lucky. So that would have been 3 tubes. So having a cap of 4 tubes doesn't affect us at all. Maybe it's a hint to what is to come in the future chaoses, but you know, that is a nothing burger. Maybe it's also just future safety and stuff like that. The move is limited to a maximum of 5 times. It's a bit sadder. I feel like you can realistically get to the point where you are deleting more than 5 cards. So if we, I think with how it's worded at least, if we still cut out cards early, we can still do the crazy thing I know some people are doing. That's might be slightly game thinking, and I think it's probably also a thing they're trying to combat there, is that you basically run 0 card decks. But if you still remove all your base cards basically before you trigger any epiphanies and stuff like that, you still can hit this, since your starting cards would be 4 cards. The 1 epiphany card you get if you have the potential upgrade, 5th card, so 5 cards. You literally have to quickly burn through all of the deletions, which sounds very unrealistic to me, I admit. But I guess you can still achieve it at least. That is a change I'm a bit more iffy on. But yeah, this is basically just there's justification with the points wise. I agree it's a lot easier to keep track of this. Honestly, what I really would love, what would help even more than just making the rules more consistent, which is a good start, is making the UI in-game better. Every time you do a change that actually changes the value of your save data, why do we not also just directly see at how much save data are we now? What is the save data cap of the chaos one we're running right now? Because I'm a goldfish trained individual and I forget. And yeah, just see how that affects. I would say that also helps a lot, because oftentimes I did get to the point where I now had to think, what do I even have in my deck and everything? Will I go over cap or not? This will help a bit, but this is not the final solution. Then we come to the balance adjustments, actually, which is gonna be the controversial part of this announcement for sure. And I'm a bit sad about some of those changes here, not gonna lie. So the big change here is that we're gonna change Stress and Cassius. They already announced that beforehand. And I do get that, especially Cassius, my man, he has been dominating the meta too much. He is broken. I feel like some of the Twessa nerfs are a bit unjustified. She was still pretty good, but the main problem of Twessa being so powerful was in hand also with just how broken Cassius is, and Twessa could really just trigger Cassius so easy. But yeah, they also mentioned it, they had a very powerful synergy during this first season meta. And yeah, if you looked at the leaderboard for the first half, like everybody was just running Twessa and Cassius instead of the Gacha characters. And something, the Gacha company that want you to sell their 5-stars instead of you using the 3-4-stars. It's a bit sad. I'm honestly, I can live with the Cassius changes. I'm a bit sad about the Twessa changes, but maybe it's also better for the health overall. I feel like, especially since we're now hitting Twessa, I hope that sooner or later we actually get another character that uses Agony. It is the only dot we have in game right now, and yeah, we only have 1 dot character. I feel like people will be less upset about Twessa nerfs once we have somebody that also really synergizes well with Twessa, so that could be neat. But yeah, basically big changes how the Shadow Daggers work and the generation with that. The one epiphany everyone has been using will basically be deleted. We'll get to that. But also they will change how Agony itself works, which honestly I'm kinda not sure how to feel about. I will see how it feels like in game, but yeah, one of the core justifications is that the UI got really cluttered because you had every stack basically separately that ticked down. Now we have one big stack of basically Agony on every enemy. So yeah, before we applied the debuff each time as a new debuff, and each Agony debuff dealt damage and then reduced its stack by 1. Now we get one big stack of the single debuff, and damage is dealt based on the number of the stacks of the debuff, then the stack count is reduced by half. This is the spooky part. We might run through Agony a lot quicker, but I guess we also see how that goes. Number of damage count increases based on the stack count. Then in the past, we basically did deal damage at turn end, and when that gets activated, reduce the Agony by 1. Now, if we activate the dot damage, we decrease the stack by half, max 20 stacks. I guess there's at least a cap to it. Maybe if you get really high, that will be amazing. But yeah, halving the Agony stacks makes it really hard to really keep more or less stacking it on enemies. Then we come to the actual card changes. So yeah, the broken part was Shadow Dagger. I mean, that is now less Agony. Go from 2 Agony to 1 Agony. Instead, we do basically get it in flat damage. Not sure how that maths actually out, if this is a buff, if it is equal, is it a nerf. That feels like very hard, at least to instantly just check. I'm sure if you do some actually calculations with simulations and stuff like that, you could figure it out. But yeah, I feel like since there's so much change with Agony, it is hard to tell how it really feels like. I feel like the sad part is that we will just see that one of her epiphanies got cut and one of her playstyles basically got cut that way. Now, the Advanced Shadow Dagger, I do very much enjoy the change. I feel like nobody actually used Advanced Shadow Daggers in the decks they wanted to run. I feel like if you got an epiphany for Advanced Shadow Daggers, you were sad. So I do support this change once more. Cost is reduced from 1 to 0. Funny enough, it would now synergize a lot more with Cassius' 0 quest. Once we get to Cassius, I will also yap for far too long about his quests. But yeah, in the past, 100% damage, 2 times 2 Agony. Now it's just 2 Agony, so I guess we're following the pattern that we're basically halving her Agony application. Damage is also reduced, but we get a plus 10% damage amount for each Agony on target. So this is basically big nuke payoff you want to use at the end of your turn, more or less. That's slightly interesting at least, but yeah, now that it's 0 cost, at least it will be played. So I guess that is also some justification of, reducing the damage. We can just spam the card now. Also, small change. I don't know why they didn't highlight this actually. But yeah, in the past, Shadow Daggers, Advanced Shadow Daggers were with weave. We do now just straight up exhaust them. Well, in the past, it means you could spam this card twice, but it did clog up your deck. Now we get rid of it, which is very nice. You don't want to clog up your deck too much with Shadow Daggers. So that I would say, I only missed the retrieve. Exhaust is actually a buff. Now we look at Unsheathed Dagger Epiphany 4. Now it was create 2 Shadow Daggers, increase the agony effect of those daggers by 3. Now we just increase it by 2. Which is, I guess, kind of still in line with them halving the agony application. I don't know how it will really feel though. And shadow reloads, that is where huge changes are made, because yeah, everybody just went with the shadow reload that gave you a shadow dagger on here. Everybody went Epiphany 2. But let's start with looking at the first one. Use the cost 2. Deal damage to our enemies. We put agony on them, and we exhausted all shadow daggers in hand, and we did repeat it for that. Now it is 1 cost, and it does do the same. Honestly, I'm not sure how much shadow daggers you can really generate, but you know, now that you probably won't have to basically compete against this does become more interesting of a way to actually apply agony, since this is one of the few agony applications that did not get nerfed. And Epiphany 2, it lost its cost. We heal more. We're only creating 1 dagger. Wait, this sort of I was thinking of that gave you on heal. But yeah, I guess extra heal is nice. We also see more heal on casters and Nia. They overall buffed healing, which is neat, maybe. Maybe that means they finally get more content that actually hits hard. We kind of got it with the tower, but yeah, I felt so far you could skip more sustain and just DPS. So them preparing more sustain really hopes that they also adjust enemy encounters. Then, oh yeah, we had the Epiphany 3 that just creates X Shadow Daggers. I will say any Epiphany that is just cost X right now is kinda underpowered, and they need to find a way to buff that more, in my opinion. But yeah, just create X Shadow Daggers in the past. I would say this is a slight buff. Here, now we get randomly chosen to be either Shadow Dagger or Advanced Shadow Dagger. See, now, this is my inner German. It's just randomly chosen. Is it a 50-50? Or is it not a 50-50? Nobody knows. I assume it is, but you cannot really be sure. Overall, it is a buff, but I would say this is still one of the weaker things to pick. I should really press in again. I can just do erratic mouse movements. So yeah, this Epiphany 4 is the one that got totally reworked. So yeah, everybody that played Gacha probably knows of this one. That was the upgrade that once you get healed by a skill card, you create 1 Shadow Dagger. What it meant was you fucking healed yourself so often that you just generated like so many daggers, especially since this was not unique. I feel like, honestly, the problem was that, yeah, it was not unique in my opinion. So I'm a bit sad that we get it totally reworked instead of just putting on a unique tag. I mean, like, I have a deck, or well, I had a deck, I will more say at this point, where I had 3 copies of this in my deck. Every time I heal, I get 3 daggers. We all can agree that was stupidly powerful. It being fully gone is sad though, because especially I feel like at just 1 copy in your deck, this is not that powerful. It just gives you extra incentive for healing cards, I guess. Especially since, honestly, healing cards themselves I often also just trim out of my decks. Because, you know, playing a card just for a heal is actually kind of slow in this game and not needed. But yeah, new skill, exhaust all Shadow Daggers, then create advanced Shadow Daggers for each exhausted for cost 1. Advanced Shadow Daggers are an upgrade now, yes. This seems very hard to play around though. This, I will say, you kind of have to combo this up, and this does not have retain. So I will see. I feel like this Epiphany is like dead on arrival, but we will see. Then, unique Epiphany number 4. We just discard all cards, create shadow daggers equal to that number. I actually did run that in a few of my decks, since it's not great, but it is basically just, if you have very expensive decks, you can just do this, and you do this card, which is funny near synergy, but it was, I guess, slightly buffed at least. We are at X-Force 2 now, so we can use this 2 times the battle. And while the attack did also get changed. And yeah, they did target the one thing that made it so amazing. You basically had this Epiphany 3 for plus 50 agony damage amount for 1 turn. You don't even read the rest. The rest didn't matter. This was a huge amount of damage of the old agony stacking we had. Now we just add 2 to 6 agony. Now 2 to 6 agony. Is it random? If it's random, I hate it so much more. Otherwise, I don't know what actually it is, but yeah, if it's random, I hate it so much. I guess we reduce its cost, yes. And we will struggle applying agony. But this is also a flat-out nerf of a card that was maybe too overpowered. You would have always fished for this Epiphany too, I agree. But this is so underwhelming in comparison. And then, lastly, Cursed Gauge. We do not do any Agony Influence and Weaken anymore. Instead, we just activate the Agony apply to the target. Which is probably in the long run a sleeper card. Right now, if only Tresor applying Agony reliably, other than like giving equipment the combatants, you don't apply enough Agony to be really interesting. But now imagine we are getting more combatants that apply agony. We actually do get to high amounts. Then figuring it during our turn and not having to wait till the end can make a huge difference. And also a huge speed upgrade, especially in something like Basin or other content where it's really turn capped. But yeah, so they changed it because they wanted it to be more intuitive. I guess could be some discussion if it actually is more intuitive though. But yeah. Also, the maximum number of agony stacks will be set to 20, which means, sadly, we cannot stack it ultimately to stupid numbers. Wonder, maybe you could already reach the max stack. Like, maybe we see more mechanic. I feel like the max stacks should probably be higher. Maybe I'm biased, but I feel like this should be probably higher. We will also update the tooltip. That is important, actually. Please do. I feel like there's still some stuff in the game that could be described better. Now that the agony stacks are limited, the agony values of Shadow will just prevent us from reaching the stack limit too quickly. Fair. But, like, if it is already a concern that she on herself reaches the stack limit too quickly, how are we gonna do, like, more combatants that do agony damage? Because surely we're gonna do more of that, right? I hope so. I mean, I know a lot of people like dot builds and stuff like that. Maybe we'll get a different dot in the future, but I also kind of doubt it, since we already have just memory fragment sets that mentioned agony specifically and everything. But who knows? But yeah, we have anti-stagger changes, increases the strategic value of 1 agony. And we just changed the values of some of those. Yep. We got rid of Epiphany 4 because, yeah, everybody did pick it, and it was not enabled in the previous meta, I get it. I'm not sure if I'm just happy with the new unique effect. Then by the attack change we did see. Okay, yeah. I think we kind of skip over this. Now we come to our man Cassius. Instead of feeding to it. What was the problem with Cassius? Oh, the problem with Cassius was his Triple Zero quest. His Triple Zero quest is so easy to trigger. And then if you got the dice trick, that's what it was called, that you got an additional card even from every completed quest, means you got 3 zero cost cards, well, optimally the daggers that you could spam from Dresser, but even Sevinel and other cavaliers can trigger this so reliably. But yeah, you did that, you spammed that, you got daggers that scaled to horrendous amounts of damage, and you even got mobile out of dice trick. That was the problem. Now, they gutted my man totally, I feel like. I feel like there would have been easier ways around it. I mean, Triple Zero is still some nice damage and stuff, but losing the scaling will be kinda sad. But yeah, that was his main problem. That is why we are changing the meta, basically. And I feel like maybe it is justified to change Triple Zero. I also feel like they should look at basically the other missions, or quests, I should say. Because I feel like there's a reason why Triple Zero is also picked so often. And I guess Full House was also picked so often. They even did buff it. And that's also like a small buff. But maybe it becomes more relevant in later content. But yeah, let's go to it specifically now. So yeah, first quest mechanic changed. So we generated a quest card as we want, and the quest cards could not trigger the quest criteria. Sensible. Oh yeah, there's also one more thing I wanted to say that I'm very confused about. While we're talking about quest cards specifically, a mistake I did make in one of my early decks, because I did not know how mechanics work and it's not intuitive. You cannot really have more than one quest active at a time. Why is the quest card not a unique card? Why that? Like, there's really no reason to play more than one quest card. So why not save the player from making a mistake like that and just add a unique tag, and also make, tubing his other cards easier? Instead, now you see dead tubes if you see a tube on his quest card. Anyways, so yeah, now we get 80% fixed healing every time we also generate a quest card. And that can happen 3 times per turn. They put a cap there. They are scared of what this man can do. This is just in line with them giving more sustain to other people. In a sense, this is slight meeker, I guess I would say, nerfs. We have now more ways to gain AP other than Mika, and the other thing she did really well was healing, but now all the other supports get also a lot more healing. But yeah, this is still a plus. This is still a buff. Now, the new Triple Zero will just deal 40% damage, and we get a plus 40% damage amount for each attack card used this turn, max 4 times. Now, is it still a lot of damage? In theory, yes. I mean, you probably would not have him as the best DPSer anyways, but I feel like we all know this not having a cap and then having something like Shadow Daggers or Serena lasers, you could have horrendous numbers on this. It could go insane. So this is just a straight nerf. So then we had Empowered Triple Zero, which, was even more powerful. We got 50% damage for each attack card used this turn. Now it is also just capped at 4. So I guess mechanically it's still works the same. It just also gets the cap applied. To be fair, it's funny that they need to show always empowered cards. I feel like with how the quests work, I mean, maybe you run him now less in outside combat. Going for the empowered quest was also not really worth it, since you always want to just choose your quest to be more reliable and, eh. But it is what it is. I feel like maybe you should have buffed these even more in a sense to maybe make it more appealing. Anyways, triple one dealt 90% damage, heals 90%. We are now healing 150% damage and dealing 150%. Straight buff. I assume this buff comes and stems from that everybody would rather go triple zero than triple one. Is that enough of a buff though? The beautiful thing about triple zero is that it's so much easier to, actually complete every turn, because to everybody's surprise, we can spam zero cost cards. We can, under most circumstances, only play like 3 1-cost cards. You see the problem with the triple one quest, which is kind of the huge problem with 2 of the quests, other than like triple zero and full house. Fulfilling straights and triple one, I feel like you can realistically only do once a turn already. So those quests should maybe be more buffed for the overall, I hope, health of Cassius, even if I understand that we maybe need to nerf his triple zero. But yeah, we did buff Full House to give stress decrease. It might be nice in some Chaos ones. It is what it is. Now, the strengthened Full House is a Full House of all time. Now, I guess the big part about this is that we retain this. So I don't know why they don't like highlight this. I feel like they should highlight this. This is the actually big buff to it, so you can save it for a turn where you actually need the card for. I do like that. That maybe makes empowered quests slightly more useful. In Dicewick, we had just that it dealt flat damage if you did not have any epiphanies on it. Now we reduced the morale for 1 turn. That is interesting. I feel like he already, I think he was the only combatant that on default had access to something like decreasing morale to his ego skill. So putting it into his kit is interesting. Maybe it will become more of his niche to be a debuff in the future. So yeah, we reduced the morale for 1 turn. And we have that basically on most of his dice tricks. But other than ones that totally change how it works. But yeah, for the Epiphany, let's just buff the damage. We're buffing the damage and do the same. Up. For the AoE one, same thing. Is basically untouched. Now, the one that's just scaled for each completed quest got also a cap on. I think, but past caps is something we'll see a lot more in the future, because the devs will fear us finding some form of basically exploit and going endless. Maybe also preparation, they did already in their roadmap in the past say we'll get a more woke-like mode again. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, there we might go even more infinite. So I guess understandable why you need caps, but I'm not a fan of caps. This is what it is. Now, have put on a unique on the dice trick that gave you heal and fixed damage after using a quest card. I could see this, especially now that I guess I could see that still becoming a problem if you scale it. But yeah, now we cannot scale it. Which again, if we can put unique text, why can we not put unique text on the quest developers? Now the real victim here. I feel like this is also the epiphany everyone was fishing for. You complete a quest, you get an additional quest card. It was random which one, but which was actually amazing because, you know, you played the 000, you hoped to get a straight for more and more damage. It's also unique now. So yeah, could you stack it actually in the past? I did not realize that. But yeah, I guess you could have stacked this in the past. To be fair, since it is so expensive, it would be quite hard to ramp it up multiple times. But fair enough. But yes, we get one empowered quest card for free every turn, which is something. It is something. It is basically for every time you would run something other than full house or 000. It comes down to the same. The big nerf is that, you know, full house or 000 you could easily trigger more often, so you're now losing out on extra quest cards there. And I feel like one empowered does not basically have the same value as like 2 normal quest cards. So yeah, they're revising the quest mechanic. Basically, like I said at the beginning of this event, this is just to stop that one basically going infinite combo. And yeah, they want to buff the individual quest rewards by capping basically how many we can get every turn. Also, I mean, I feel like instead of capping 000, they really should just look into making the other quests being more reliable to trigger. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, we all picked the one synergy epiphany that gave him more cards. And instead of, especially since we now already got it 000, why are we also getting this? If you think it's a problem that everyone picks this epiphany, maybe look at the other epiphanies of this card and buff them. But yeah, now you might have gone to the Tresor and Cassius changes and gone like, it's time to end myself. Those were characters I was so much invested in. For one, I guess I'll start with this. We do know that you basically can refund all your investment into a character. Interesting enough, we see there's a timer in it. So I hope it's like days and hours. I hope so at least. So you should have probably plenty amount of time to get your investment out of them if you don't want to play them anymore. Is it justifiable? I mean, there's still potential to be made with Tresor and Cassius. I would say Tresor is our only agony damage dealer. So being invested in her, I would say, is really not that bad. And honestly, I could look up. I know that Musty had like an extreme lucky Cassius case already, where he had what is it called? It's not called Dice Trick. It's Devil Dice. It's Devil Dice, where he got a Divine Epiphany to reduce its cost by to 0, but it had like Betrayed, Retain 4. Now, is it super lucky to get there? Yes. But with all the changes to tubing and everything, there will also be more with the next season, which I'll get to. I'm starting to realize this will be a very long segment. Maybe I am born to just yap about balance, and I love it. Maybe I should have made a whole video about it, but I also feel like, I mean, I'm still making a video out of this, instead of making a live segment. But yeah, I'm yapping again. He does kind of lose his niche of being extreme nuke. Is he totally worthless out of the meta at this point? No. Yeah, other characters can also provide card draw. Nia can do it. Then who else can? Veronica can do it. But if you really get lucky with a good build, I would say Cassius will be still our best card draw. So That is one thing for decks. It's not really deck cycling. I feel like deck cycling Nia might win out on. But thanks to also the healing changes and everything, he will also be a good sustain. And you probably might, at least with current content, would probably not need a second healer in your party. So there's some value there. Before I'm all doomer now. But I would still say, yeah, it is a nerf. And then the other big thing that we get teased here is the Flash of Possibility. I mentioned those consumable before. That's a new currency that we start be able to earn, but everyone that, you know, made decks for Cassis and Nias. Not sure how many we actually get. Did they specify it? Yeah, that's basically as compensations for people that farmed decks beforehand, because we all invested time in, you know, building decks and running chaos with them. We'll get flashes of possibilities, and they are basically items that can change completed save data. Amazing. It's in line with the overall design philosophy of making it easier to get a save data you want to. And basically, we can designate a card that can receive a unique epiphany, and then we directly select and apply the desired unique epiphany. And what is even more insane to me, which is very interesting, one maybe to keep in mind when you farm decks in the future, is that if a card has already a divine epiphany on it, then we can still choose the unique epiphany, and we do get the divine epiphany on that unique epiphany on it. And hi, Ali. I hope you're doing fine. We are just yapping about balance in the gacha game. So, that's gonna be peak content. Hope you had a fun stream. But yes, this is huge. And we will be able to get more of them. I'm very much a fan of this item. The question is, I'm not sure if it feels good enough that, you know, a lot of save data gets scattered, that you will never use again, and you just get an item that is slight changes. But I guess it's the best thing they can realistically do, and I guess you're supposed to basically farm new save files every season anyways. So that is one way to cope out of that. But yeah, that's what we gone over. Then we have combatant improvement, not just total adjustments. Big thing for all the vanguards is that the counterattack gets buffed when we are at a fully blocked attack. It is a buff to actually, you know, invest into shields, which so far kind of was not worth it, I must admit. Vanguards were already in the meta kind of very much behind. Even if I was a Magna enjoyer and fan, she was like my first character I pulled from the gacha. I did realize later on that, yeah, running a healer is just so much better for this stress. So I hope this will be a high enough amount to actually justify running them more. I hope so, at least. Then we have some nice changes to Nia. I wouldn't say they're big, but basically extra healing on Nia. That's all you basically need to know. Extra elasticity, which means healing and easier ways to gain decibel for some extra damage too. So yeah, extra healing. We do like that. And then we come to Wei. Critical chance increase effect will be changed to a damage-based healing effect. I guess it is in line with more or less them making everyone being more sustained as a support instead of, you know, only having a few healers. Same with snack time. Do you think the healing on snack time seems like a very peculiar choice? I feel like, especially since snack time is just a card that you exhaust. I'm not sure that is the way to go, but I get heavy sustain is more sustain. What is the certification? So V has relatively unique cards with built-in healing effects. I see. So yeah, we also just want more healing then. Then we have Olia. I never really used Olia, so I cannot really, I don't know if I can really say anything that is of value here. I did say some people complain that it still doesn't really help her. So meh. Haru is quick and I enjoy it. So yeah, we increase the amount of anchor shot, which is neat. I will, since yeah, like anchor shot, you probably would not normally use that often. So yeah, that is just, more damage is a straight buff. Lift anchor also not increasing the cost. Anchor shot is very nice. I feel like playing around that was very hard, since anchor shot costs 2. With that, it costs already 3. So if you did not break a character or did bring XYP generation to your team, those 2 cards were already your whole turn. And yeah, I feel like Aru very quickly just fell out of meta. The only time I run her is for the Judas boss. Maybe she will get her time to shine. I feel like last season's meta was really about anyone that can hit often instead of hitting hard. So we're coping for her. And changes to Yuki, we're increasing damage. And like I said, we will just also give her epiphanies some single target damage focus and low pick rate epiphanies. I'm very curious which epiphanies those actually will be. Also more damage on freezing blade, I guess. So yeah, overall, she was I'm not even sure I would say Yuki was middling in damage. I feel like the sin they did was releasing a gacha character to content that is not basically suited for her. But I'm sure the devs know what they're doing. And, with how crazy Savannah is, I don't think extra damage on somebody else can hurt. Now, Tesoro changes, which also all buffs to my surprise. I do love Tesoro. So, would literally say she's like one of the most fun characters, especially since you could build her differently. I do have a very fun, like, Tesoro support DPS build that I can just run with my Serenel. Tesoro herself basically has no cards once I've used all my abilities and my karmic flames and everything. I really enjoyed that build. So, yep. Firstly, we will buff the karmic flames. Effect triggered when used on targets inflicted with cursed shackles will stay enhanced, and we will reduce some epiphany costs. I'm not sure which ones they will go for. Probably not the one that puts it into scale, but it is what it is. Inhibit not restricting your EP gain. No, I feel like that just removes what was her one drawback. It was an interesting drawback since it made you team build differently. Now she fits into more teams for sure, and I guess she had this awful thing going on where you even could get like divine epiphanies on herself that gave you EP that were like just straight up wasted and just increased the save file for no reason. Then we have bounded task. That is, and I guess we were also curious to see the new epiphanies because this is already basically now on its own doing the thing that I think is like the epiphany everybody chose of reducing the cost of 2 cards. Increasing the amount of Oni hand. Wait, I guess? Und? Don't know. I used it. I don't see the problem that Oni hand had. More damage on Shadow Moon. It's interesting. Also, Shadow Moon cards stacking when they are in the graveyard or draw pile is a huge, big change. I'm liking that part. I'm not sure if he needed to actually increase the damage, but maybe we're just getting more units closer to 7 milling damage. Yeah, Moonlight of High Tide also does a damage increase. Yeah, we're getting more damage. We making her less restrictive. Then we get Calliope buffs. I am once again not a Calliope enjoyer because I don't own her. So I will make it very brief. From what I know, she was already like a top pick for Chaos. So an extra buff sounds hilarious to me. But yeah, she was a great dog walker. She will keep walking dogs. Wagner kind of really could use something more. I think big buff will already beat us in the buff counter damage, and that is her whole gimmick. She lives for the counter damage. She lives for the 1v1 punching. But yeah, we get also more damage on Glacial Iron Fist and more shield on Ice Wall, which is nice. I feel like under some circumstances those were cards I did just cut. I do not own Hugo, but I guess getting initiation on his cards is just a buff. I cannot see that being a negative. I do own a Win. Did I ever play her? No. So, yeah, I'm not sure if this is amazing or not. So, whoop. Then we're buffing some 5-star partners. Whoop. We also overall increase the attack and defense effects of most 4 and 5 stars passives, which is kind of needed. They did kind of do the funny thing where the 3 stars are the best thing to pick if you're not a whale, basically, most of the time. You had the unique 5 stars for characters that most of the time at 1 tube were better at a fully tubed 3 star, yes. But also only by a slight bit. The otherwise, Stavia gains more damage amount. Plasma Cord does get her ego skill costs lowered, and we're drawing now 2 cards. In the past, you either got 1 card draw out of it or meant equal, since I feel like the main way to use it, at least when I looked at it, I felt like is that you actually would trigger her abilities from card draw, the Flash of Inspirations. You still can do this, for sure. I mean, now you can do it even easier. But yeah, I always looked at it as a thing that you just move a card got in your hand on turn start and you get it out like this. But yeah, the other way to play it, which you already could have done in the past, is just, move 1 card from somebody else and just get 2 of the cards you would wanted. Tsuku buffs is neat. I feel like Itsuku is one of the ones that didn't really need a buff, but lower ego cost skill, always nice. And memory fragment improvements. Everybody knows. I think everybody knows at this point, especially if you have watched any of my videos, is that 2-2 is like 90% of the time the dominant thing. Now we're getting some buffs to some of the 4 sets. Are they enough is the question. The nice thing is that they basically will be easier to trigger. The instinctual growth, which was already maybe somewhat interesting for Serenal, is now easier to trigger. Was it a problem for Serenal to trigger specifically before instead of 3? Not really, but it's quality of life. More units might be able to use it, even if the 20% is not the biggest amount of buff you can get. Now we just straight up get plus 30% damage amount to ball cards that hit 2 or more times. I feel like actually that's Win and Seven, and not Seven, Win and Chisoro that I guess do have some nice multi-hits going on easily. For them, this might be neat, and you know, it is easier to have just flat out damage for some cards than extra amount you need to trigger and then have it afterwards. I do like this change. Spark of Passion has getting triggered when an upgrade card is used. It's actually, I feel like, kinda huge for somebody like Selena, where you have an upgrade card in your starting hand guaranteed that you're playing every time. That means for the rest of the fight, you'll just do 20% more damage with her. Neat. Actually, this is probably the biggest glow up we've gotten. Is it enough to really balance around the 2-2-2 problem? Probably not. But, you know, I might be wrong. Then we are looking at some equipment and common cards. Now we do get caps again. Some stuff. I guess this is just, you know, future safety blankets. I mean, you know, realistically, I feel like you could draw more often than 5 times per turn, so that already. So this is just more or less nerf. Kinda the same thing for the combat suit. But, you know, I'm not sure if they were already picked often. I don't think anybody really went for them. Maybe in the future it becomes more relevant. But I just feel like since those pieces of equipment, at least normally, I would never really go for them being nerfed. Whatever burger, because we're not gonna use them. They don't give us damage, so we just overlook them. At least in the past matter. Under of the Void now has exhaust. Everyone that uses this for shooters is probably crying out in pain. Makes Under of the Void a lot less worth it, I would say. I guess, you know, it is deck thinning in a sense, but yeah, I feel like you only include it in the deck basically cheese shooters, so whip that. Tactical action that get a buff by 10% basically. Nice, I guess. Acid gas will now exhaust and deal care to our enemies. It is, I honestly, I would say that is just a buff. Wait, why does it have beef and exhaust? Why did they not give it Vitain then? Retrieve exhaust seems like a peculiar choice. But yeah, I would say cost goes down. I wouldn't really include it in my decks. I would say the overall changes do maybe favor getting more neutral cards. So this now has an exhaust of 2 for Valley, which is also sad since Valley was like one of the neutral cards I often included. Because once you pick an Epiphany on them, it was just a free buff for a turn. I mean, you did card war again, so, you know, you went equal, and then you had just like mobile for a turn or something like that. Beautiful. And you increase the action count, which is a nice thing. But when it worked, it worked. Sad about this. I feel like this just made fighting shooters so much harder. Now we look at all the cool monster cards. We have heard like, oh Jesus Christ, like an hour ago, that yeah, now the costs got reduced. So commons ones at 20, rares one at 50, legendaries at 80 still. So now we just see where they are at. I will quickly gloss over. I feel like this is gonna be a long segment already. Let's look at basically the common cards. Are there any good common cards we would include? I feel like something like Wolfsbane is a nice common card you include. I guess 6 Agony is a lot of Agony in current economy too. The multi-hit could be neat for some people like Jasuro. What else do we have? 7 arms is still legendary, which I'm not sure. I mean, I guess 2 AP is a lot. Also, Soldier Prime being like, it sounds a bit funny and savvy, no? But also at 50 cost, it might be too expensive. But yeah, basically, there's some new options that might be worth to more or less actually include in your save file. Like I kind of already kept earlier. Thing is, so I'm not sure it is really worth to hunt them, even if they become meta, because how awfully unreliable those will still be. We also changed Spirit Cafox, so it does not applicate a card anymore, instead we apply retrieve. That is a big nerf. Might be just good future thing to have, but especially since I think Spirit Cafox, oh no, it's Swarm now, okay, that's why it's also nerfed. Because now we might actually include it in decks. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, those are the balance changes. Now, we will quickly gloss over just also what comes with next season. We did get cool art. I feel like people that enjoyed can just, look at the links later. I'll post them also under that video that I make. It's cool and all. We're getting actually new unique enemies, so we should celebrate. And I do like plants, so getting plants enemies is interesting. But let's quickly just basically talk about the unique gimmick of next season. So you're gonna get arena equipment. And they have basic conditional triggers on them. So that is the cool new thing. And some will grant arena cards when we trigger their effect. So we will just gain hopefully powerful cards whenever we do whatever the requirement is. Gonna be interesting to see what they are like. I'm not sure how I'm gonna compare to the forbidden cards. Forbidden cards were most of them were pretty powerful, so I feel like the gear will hopefully too. I'm curious, probably not during the season, but if overall we can stack then seasonal powers, maybe do we one day get basically decks where we have forbidden cards with arena equipment in them? Maybe, maybe not, we'll see. Yeah, by winning arena battles in the new chaos, we can get refinement on them. And that basically means we can get new abilities to our equipment. You can apply one of the randomly generated options on one selected piece of equipment. There's approximately 20 different options. You could all choose one out of three. We've played roguelikes before. And then lastly, we have God's Hammer. It's basically to make sure that once you kill the interior boss, that it becomes more reliable to upgrade this armor to something you actually want it to be. Yeah, we can use it on refined equipment. The current refinement will get removed, but instead the equipment gains randomly one of all effects that appear in the chaos with new mythic great ones. But yeah, it's something to look forward to. Especially since I feel like the game lacked equipment and stuff like that. Especially for the roguelike-ish mode, I feel like to be interesting. Then playing around with this will be nice. And then probably what most people look forward to is the Zero upgrade revamp. Yeah, now we went only to the skill tree. We went to it once, you got your buffs, and that was it, how we had it. I think the only choice we really made here was maybe at the end actually resetting it and get rid of the node that spawned harder enemies. Now you can, what do they say? Basically, yeah, we'll also show it later on, but we will get more effects in it, so we can more easily fish for the desired epiphanies or card loops that we want. Because, yep, that is what we have been fishing in the chaos. That is what you play the game for. Like I said, I'm sad that it will turn less of a roguelike and we will run just the same deck more and more even still. But maybe if it makes it easier to farm for decks, it means instead of me spending 3 weeks farming one character, I finish farming one character in a week. Then I farm at least other characters and have variety that way. That's my hope. So we have the meditation features. It's gonna be added save zones after we get an upgrade for it. We can spend credits to reroll epiphanies. That already has an epiphany on it. You can use it in every save zone we visit. It will have a scaling cost. But yes, this is just an extra thing we can do in the save zones. And, if you have a deck that is close to greatness, but, you rolled one shitty epiphany on, and now try to change it again. I like that feature. Now, we also select who we tube cards on. So for everything that in the past just gave you 1 out of 3 cards to tube, we will instead get to designate a specific combatant. It's still random what we're gonna get from them. So, there's still gonna be pain involved, but a lot less pain. And yep, also mid-season we'll get more variables. Looking forward to that. I'm not happy that it is mid-season though. I'm also not a fan how they did it in the first Chaos that was seasonal. That we unlocked the later bosses only like second and third of the season. That was kind of meh. I feel like it is basically content for one run where you go, yo, that is new content and cool, but then I feel like, why wasn't it part always? Since it was still a thing that improved your save files and everything. So why withdraw that for me? We'll get new season content with the season board. So we can basically track a bit and show up of our medals. We can finally decorate, our ID cards. Maybe the fine system will become more useful. I mean, we also know that we can loan save files. We're getting improvements to codexes. Basically, we get cool new codices that are just there instead of farming save data, that we will get basically wild ones where we get more buffs and everything, but we will unable to acquire save data and get a lot of orbs instead and have just a hard one instead, which might be interesting. Also, higher save data cap, which and that should also be easier to get to. So yep, I like that. We do love farming save data after all. Getting new memory fragments. We will see how those stack up. Since we know that 9 will be. Is Justice this order? Now I forgot. The Queen color. She's the Queen Vanguard. So maybe she will synergize with this and get source cards, but we know she's a Vanguard, so she will also synergize well with an Archer. Yeah, that is basically big parts I've been yapping about for like more than an hour. Now we can actually play the goddamn video game. Amazing. And like I said, we will do the trauma code. But yeah, there's a lot of things to look forward to in a sense. I'm just a bit spooked about it being less of a roguelike. Actually, maybe also just for myself, let's make a quick break. That's what I wanted to say of a minute so I can hydrate. I've been yapping for like an hour. It's kinda wild. So be right back. Whoop, yippee! Here I'm back. Yep, let's play the trauma code. I've been playing the game for 2 hours. For sure. Boop, boop, boop. And like I said at the start of the stream, or why it was daily. I yapped to the daily reset of this game. This is the best writing the game had so far. So I have huge expectations. We will see if they come true or not. I mean, I really hope so, since, you know, it is good if I actually, you know, would enjoy the writing of the Gacha game. And I guess since there are more standalone stories, it is probably a lot easier with the whole B-Rides going on, etc. I can just really not care much about the actual event stories and stuff like that, since I have no idea how canon they actually will be. I have a lot more confidence that stuff like this will still become canon. Incubation. Mayo 2, we have incredibly high hopes for you. Know that you can make it, we'll make sure of that. Now, time to blow out the candle. Let's celebrate your birth. Just bring your lips close to the candle on that cake and blow out. Oh no, please don't tell me that localization is still a bit rough. Just like this, okay? Just do what I do. The visual simulates how it's done. We'll blow the lights out on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The numbers keep spiking. Doesn't seem to be an issue with the trauma code simulation. Elaborate. I can't pinpoint whether it's because you're looking at a traumatic event that continued until recently, or it's because we are trying to run this on a replica. I can't get you to manifest inside the simulation, Captain. Seems you'll play a spectator for this one. That will be enough. Oh, someone's confident. Simulation isn't our only option. I'm starting to get jealous. Well, since it's not like I can take the patient's place, I'll leave you to it. My diving device is working as intended, so you don't have to worry about that. I stood by silently as Elaine got up and left the room. Outside, I could hear a muffled conversation that Elaine was having with someone else. A few moments later, the owner of the other voice peeked inside. Pale skin, blue eyes. It almost seemed as they were camouflaged for the simulation room. I'm sorry, I'm not really used to everything yet. Everything outside of the lab is new to me. I mean, I have seen things in virtual simulations and videos, but the trauma code is completely new to me. It's an experiment that I never experienced in the lab. Welcome to more traumatic memories. I mean, I guess it is there to help them. I think someone mentioned that this actually was an experiment for research. If so, then I don't know why you'd be interested in looking into a replica's past. But to demonstrate the latent potential I hold as an unliteral subject of observation, that's the reason I exist. So I guess I'm quite used to processes like this. It's fine. Now you can finally look at yourself. You can look into and analyze me for whatever you want, Captain. Archer, you've misunderstood. What we're doing here is for you and only you. Ah, for me? Archer blinked her eyes at me in innocent confusion. The silence that followed her words was proof that she was unable to comprehend the situation. What do you mean? You've no need to feel anxious, and you don't have to make any effort to show us any results. You're looking into my memories. I don't think that's possible. We'll find out once you see it, Captain. That's how suffocatingly tight the space confining my memories is. Seems Nature really was accustomed to being treated as an unliteral subject of observation. Watched as she snugly embraced Elysian. The white flying worm was always with her as she closed her eyes. And so, we descended into the sea of her memories. Around 20 years ago. Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday! Happy birthday, dear Annie, too. Man, it feels strange celebrating the birthday of somebody that you'd like not even bothering giving a name to. When I opened my eyes for the first time, I was inside a small tight pot. Beyond the transparent pain that encased my body, I could make out the figure of a few others, all who surrounded me as they clapped and cheered, and a small cake base between us. I didn't know who these individuals were, What is the significance of this cake, as I stared at what was happening before me? Hero 2, we have incredibly high hopes for you. Know that you can make it. Make sure of that. Now, time to blow out a candle. Let's celebrate your birth. Half the researchers opposite of me move with unusually slow but gentle gestures, the features noticeably pale. The younger researchers around me soon start moving about in a flurry. One of them calls on the older researcher. Dr. Yuma, don't forget about teaching it how to blow out the candle. Did you just call you on it? Ah, yes, that's right. Just bring your lips close to the candle on that cake and blow out. Yeah, I think localization is still a bit rough around the edges, huh? Just like this, okay? Just do what I do. Yuma simulates how it's done. Was it because I was blankly staring? This director person simulated how I should eject wind to blow out the red light in front of me. I instantly moved my head up and down, and the transparent cover opened up. A rush of the lab's chemical scent stung my nose, while the flame of the candle atop the cake wavered vividly. It was only then that I noticed how oppressively heavy and musty the air inside the capsule felt. Blow the lights out on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Looking back on things now, I was already somewhat aware of language and numbers from the moment I was born. This cake was something unfamiliar to me, but I followed the instructions I were given and blew out the candle. That's it. Good job. Vector's eyes were still wary, but the way the edges of his lips squeezed upward caught my attention. He seemed to understand my words. I see we won't be having any communication problems. We can speed up our research. Shaw immediately commenced the comprehensive replica adaptability assessment, closed the capsules and prepared ones. Must be successful this time. We fail here, all of the replicas of this batch, including GAO0, will be disposed of. No! Do you all understand? Sir. I think that is Gaia, right? The researchers started to scurry even faster. The desks were cluttered with data pads in charge. I didn't get much time to breathe the air on the other side of the capsule. Instead, I did what I could and let my eyes trace its evanescence. Congratulations on the successful replica cultivation, Director Yuma. Is this the first time they actually did this during a cutscene? Are they doing new things with their engine? If yes, that's cool. Yuma, the name of my creator. Replica entity code NA02. That's what they call me. Researcher report entity code NA02. Normal responsiveness to external stimuli verified. Simple command recognition limited speech capability verified. I haven't found any structural flaws or instabilities. It is ready to proceed with the portability verification phase. Everyone looks at me with excitement. I think they're talking about successful research results. Simulation preparation complete. A graphic image began to manifest across the transparent cover's curved surface. Graphs, scientific terms, and nonsensical numbers filled up my periphery. Number and graphs were constantly changing, as if they were alive. I have understood language and numbers, but this wasn't possible. In moments, the light faded away inside the capsule. I could understand what was happening or how much time I had passed. I soon found myself looking at an unfamiliar landscape. This is... maybe free money. How big is it? 6%, so what, like 20 notes? I do like the actual combat, since no, I mean, I do know how to play Nacha at this point. I played her a bunch, but yeah, I do like the combat showcasing how they work. We kind of don't listen to the bot though. This is a chaos manifestation, simulation. Simulation? Chaos? Metal Gear? As I take in my surroundings, a sweeping field comes into view. View so vast it's incomparable to the lab interior it seems from within the capsule. I instantly reacted in disgust towards the viscous sludge that was stuck on the ground and the buildings. I shivered as the wind whistled by and put my hair on edge. Though this pales in comparison to what the Empire is capable of, it should be more than enough to test your potential. Let's see if you're synced in. Try moving your hands and feet. Didn't realize what for, but I squiggled my fingers and toes. Tell me about your movements. Are you feeling anything strange? Experiencing delays as if you're moving slower than you'd expect? I can tell. Good, no issues then. Alright, commencing the test immediately then. Portals is the name we call those who can navigate the chaos while bringing out the utmost potential of those they've infiltrated the chaos with. These portals have only ever been produced by the Empire. We've decided to create our own without their assistance. You are a product of that decision. You are a replica. Portals Empire replica? I don't understand. A replica? Yes, that's all you need to know for now. I'm Yuma, Institute Director of Laboratory 1 and the creator of Replica. You call me by my name? Yuma. Everyone before called you Director. Can I call you that too? Of course, call me whatever you'd like. Let's see the wrinkles in the director's face intensify as he smiled from ear to ear. Was he happy with my response? The aim of the session is to examine the effects, costs, and in the end the integration involved in separating the portal's role in independent entity. By moving that large, white life form to your right. Wait. That thing was supposed to replace portals as a large white this? Looks at the big sperm cell. Glanced at the life form next to me. Since when was it? No, it was there with me from the beginning. A single big and blue eye that the creature had moved left and right just as I had willed it, and even blinked on cue. Confirming the operation of the portal's functional unit corresponding to the main body's activity. Things are moving along optimally. We've already gone over this before, but you have within you a portal's functional unit that will bring out boundless capabilities. Show us what kind of entity you are. How? First, let's proceed forward. You run into a chaos monster, attack it first. If you don't, I'll be the one being attacked. Chaos monster, what's? Vector's holographic figure disappeared. All that remained was nothing more than incomprehensible data regarding the simulation. It was the horizon of chaos before me. Guiding by my instructions, I stepped forward. This portal's functional unit called Elysium floated along beside me. I do hate that the game will call me out every time I tap out these days. With the music disappearing. What's that? When I ran into another life form within the chaos, I immediately knew that this was one of the chaos monsters that the Vector was talking about. It looked completely different from the researchers that were running around the lab. Its movements were more feral, more uninhibited. Or vicious-looking teeth and made disturbing noises. Yet, for some reason, I felt an inexplicable kinship toward it, as if it were a life form closer to myself than with humans. If you're like me, then you... Once it made itself seem bigger as it stood its ground, wary of me. Legion did the same. It would be up to match the monster's periphery and spread its wings wide. Huh. I have to attack it first, or else I'll be attacked. This instinct for survival was ingrained in me long before language or numbers. I moved the illusion in position and prepared for the battle. Let's go! Okay, just pop this. And then we can... And this is literally your standard deck, isn't it? I forgot which one do actually debuff me when they die. So I want to get rid of you first. And then we can... Oh, she does not even have the upgrade to get veracity on those. That's a bit vile. But hey, at least you get full veracity every time you do this. Should I have done this? Maybe. Before the upgrade, she is very basic for sure. Oop. But hey, she's winning her first combat. I'm proud of our child. I'm not proud of us anymore. Oop. Oh, I probably could have ended it right there. Well, maybe it is good to save it. Maybe there's one more combat in this node. I do like this thing. Entity code NAO2 combat data update complete. I can't wait to see it grow when we, and I guess giving us at some point a mealtime card. Wasn't a powerful enemy, was it? Look down at Elysian. Patches of monster's flesh were stuck between its sharp canines. I stripped the flesh off one by one. Familiar voice caught my attention. Astounding. This turned out much better than I anticipated. Vector. I feel it's a tad bit early to do this so soon, but I believe it will be worth the research I've had shown you now. Another replica will be sent your way. Just consider her a member of your family who was born not too long before you. Family? I already went to these testers before you, but she was unsuccessful in meeting our expectations. We together, the two of you can conquer this chaos. Aya, can you make your way to these coordinates? I'll try. Know what? Never mind. Let's not waste time, since you'll likely fail or would. I already hate this man. Or to send your data to the designated coordinate. Do not be alarmed. There she is. She's so cute. Who appeared before me was another entity that had white skin and blue eyes, just like Elise. But this one had 2 eyes. The other glowed yellow, reminded me of the candle I had seen earlier. Oddly, however, the newcomer's eyes were moving all over the place frantically, unable to stay still. I think this little one in front of you is Gaia. Well, that's the name she chose for itself. She even named her own proto-functional unit. The eyes were next to her as Agatha. I don't know now. Gaia? She's Gaia. A Gaia, right? You really deal with that monster by yourself? Huh? That's not me. Those things are... Gaia, you're to provide full support to Nurture for the remainder of this test. I shall be recording how and what you do to influence your fellow replicas. Yellow eyes pierce right through me. Contempt, the satisfaction. I can almost taste the emotions he's sending my way. Be ready to fight, or we are both dead. You got that? Okay. I darts her eyes forward, jerking her head slightly in that direction, then quickly back at me, as if she were ordering me to move in said direction. It certainly felt like an instruction, but I couldn't tell the difference from the instructions the director had been giving me this entire time. Driven by her scathing glare, I began moving one foot in front of the other. We hadn't walked far when we ran into a group of monsters. Elysian and Agatha were both showing clear signs of agnostic intent. Right, I faced them. Oh, we said our EP though. Yep. Beautiful. Oh, that was the turn of all time. Oh, having Domain of Vivacity available is so much nicer. You know what? Give him the predation. Yeah, we can... I should have played this first. I did misplay. We could have ended this. This is not a speedrun, guys. Yep. More fans. Wait, I did get... Did I heal myself or did I get healed? Yeah, give me the predation. Won't ever trigger mealtime. But I feel like, you know, I should actually... SFU Vivacity is kinda neat. Just do this. Man, didn't play the game for... I think I did still do some chaos. I also still need to do my weekly chaos sometime this week. But yeah. I will say the lull between seasons is a bit sad. I mean, also it kinda aligned very well with me being busy with other stuff, but it does also feel a bit sad. You did not die. I misplayed again. This will be just a testament of me being bad at video games. And luckily this stage is still very forgiving. I mean, it's an introduction how to play her. We did it. With the battle over, Elysian returns to its perch. Again, I take a time to sip the flesh between its teeth. We are a giant toothbrush. Really pleased to me to see data of such quality. Aya is showing no signs of improvement, even though she has much to fulfill. I wonder if we are wasting time gathering data from her. I think of the disposal process once you finish this test. Man, kinda rude. Actually, I know that there's like Gaia on her word tag. Gacha doesn't have word tag on her, does she? Or is the subject Eve? Huh. And an apple. I surely wonder what they were going for with the snake. Gacha, do you remember what I told you before the test started? This is one who finds the way forward within chaos. I will now be testing if you have that capability. Look up, and far out there on the horizon, you will see a very tall tower piercing the sky. That is your destination. Very tall tower? Just like the director mentioned, all the way in the distance, I could make out a structure that emitted a soft blue light. You can make it there in one go. The test will be over immediately. Can you do it? Nodded, but I was about to move. I recklessly turned around into a pair of eyes that were looking daggers at me. Yeah, I feel like... I'm not sure who they actually have for the translations, but I assume it's somebody that is English, that is East, right? I mean, I cannot judge. My English is always not perfect, but it is still noticeable that, like, this should have been stabbing daggers. I know enough English about how to phrase it like that. Now, it's not as horrendous as the first organization was, but this game has so much potential. I want to see the greatness of it. So maybe also nitpick for the smaller things. It's possible. I didn't hold a commanding gaze, but I couldn't quite grasp what set them apart. Strange. I'm certain I'm moving toward it, but I'm not getting any closer. They told you it didn't die? It's impossible. Let's give up already. Ask the Vector for help. Vector? Yeah, quickly now. Call the Vector. Tell him you also can figure it out. So you also call him the Vector? Huh? What's that to do with anything? It's for the two of us. Maybe more alike than I thought. What? What a weird thing to say out of the blue. I'm not like you. I may have failed the tests up until now, but I'm definitely going to find a way this time around. So yeah, it's this way. I'm certain we'll arrive if we go this way. They pointed to the right, but the path curved all the way around. Agatha, while coiled up around Gaia's body, shook its head in the same direction. Certain this is the right direction? Ha! Just watch! You and the Vector are going to have to acknowledge my abilities now. Is it? Wait. Pointing that away. Shifting my body to follow Gaia's suggestion, Elysian quickly parked itself in my path. Elysian then glided and from the other path, the one that led directly to the tower. Tell me, is that direction? You're talking about? We felt every time we went that way. Come on, quickly. Elysian shook its head vigorously. You... what should I do? Who should I follow? Follow Elysian? Sorry, let's go this way for now. End up lost and go by your lead. You're looking down on me too. Whatever you want. You know, I guess it is kind of looking down on people a bit, but I feel like at times like this, if you're unsure what to do, and you have one feeling, listening to others at that point is like really awful if you like, if it turns out to be the wrong thing. Sometimes it's better to make your own mistakes. Gacha, are you sure you're going the right way? Seems the magician no longer knows which way to go. But we've gotten a little closer to the tower. Not worry, you're doing well. Hector, all the replicas we've tested, you're the only one who's made it this close to the tower. Can't say there's sufficient evidence that you're on par with the supporters, but I trust your decision. Let your instinct take you where you need to go. Another take everything from me? I have to find something to prove myself. So which is the right way to proceed from here. And if it's not that big of a problem, you end up lost, so it's okay, you don't have to overdo it. Or did you just say, hey, wait for me? Don't overdo it, like you know any better. Oh, what now? Why did you stop? Still ways to go until we get to the tower. Oh, there, in front of us. There's another replica. More the monsters tore apart the replica. The figure of fur and metallic smell grew. So I breathe in. My vision begins to blur. Soon I feel strong pangs of hunger, though I'm unaware of its origins. It's time to feast. Monster, is it eating that replica? Darling. It's even screaming, begging for its life, while the monster is staring into it without hesitation. No. We leave them there. Replica will die. Even if they're useless, I can just stand by and watch them perish. We have to save them. Wait, stop. I have to stop. Archer, we have incredibly high hopes for you. We know that you can make it. We'll make sure of that. I've already gone over this before, but you have within you a pro-dysfunctional unit that will bring out boundless capabilities. Shows what kind of entity you are. As I watched the monster feeding on the replica, the first emotion for it was not that of fear nor fury. It was more akin to its own primal desire to consume. Regard pitiable creatures as nothing more than sustenance fuel for one's own evolution. I see. The true monster that I must confront isn't corporal, but rather the instinct that resides within me. What, then, is the reason I must refrain from acting up in these carnal desires? Save me! I don't want to die like this! What exactly do I want? Wait, we're saving Gaia. Okay, we're not... I guess maybe I should have just, you know, to get a bad ending out of the way. You okay? Just a small bite. That thing, it's focused on us now. To deal with it for sure this time. Yeah. Give me predation. So we get a nice AoE out of the way. It's not enough to stop anyone. Get rid of you then. Might be able... Oh, maybe not. I guess we are able to kill not one of them. We did not get enough ego points. Gone there. I hope that the fights will become more interesting. I feel like this is always a good opportunity to show off the combatant. One of me was the carcass of a monster, and the replica that was barely holding onto the last of the leopard breaths. One. Facing at the replica, my inner instincts once again began to twitch. The way things are right now, I could drench myself in this feast without having to worry about anything to distract me. I'm out stronger for it. I see that Elysian was thinking the same thing. Stopping Elysian from approaching the replica was entirely my own will. What was the reason? I was rejecting my instincts. Why did I choose to save my kid? If it was simply because all life is precious, then why did I choose to save the replica, yet kill the monster? What was the difference between myself and the beast? It was the director who told me the answer. This was an unexpected outcome. It's a good thing we deployed Gaia. Congratulations, Nacha. You successfully completed the first test. Vector, I think that was in front of me just... Oh, don't worry about that. All of it was nothing but data. Each replica has its own composition of a multitude of monsters in the Camerite solution. Because of that, it seems there's relations where some of those monsters' natures remain intact. In most cases, we'd be wasting precious time conditioning them into porters, so they're disposed of immediately. Well, how nice that we did not get possessed. Didn't expect you to save Gaia and kill the monster. Seems like there may be something more latent with you. Once simulation is closed, you'll find yourself back in your body inside a capsule. Don't be alarmed and just make sure you adhere to what the researchers ask of you. Understood? This is nature. I'm certain I felt the urge to devour that replica. I was done with it. We have eyed the monster next. Stop me from doing so. Thanks, you saved me. Aya. Exactly, you must have as possible we still have a monster's nature influencing us. Aya, have you felt anything like that? Monster? Don't know. I was like this since day one I was born, so how would I know? There's only one thing that I realized while completing these tests. We have to survive no matter what it takes. And to do that, we have to prove to them that they are different from those monsters. I see. That's what we probably need to prioritize. Huh? Wait, what do you mean that? Not become like them. Yeah, I think one ending would have been just getting eaten. But I didn't kill because we eat them. Actually, oh, it does actually show you what to do. What would have happened if we would have gone with Gaia's way? Why is there not a note for that? Well, let's get a combo out of the way quickly. Now, this will be hilarious. I probably should... I should think as my own archer, I guess. Who else do we do this? Yeah, I should change the save data. Maybe this. I should actually also... This is probably a good channel one. This one goes hard for melee. It will after save data. Yep. Yeah, and 7 LTUD. That's my deck I love. Okay. We will place through it. Maybe I actually should save the combat notes just for off stream. Because I kinda assume this will be trivial. Oh. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Turns out I might be slightly overpowered. Oop. Beautiful. Sand. Genome editing. Here the researcher's voice is on the other side of the class. One is talking about their family, and I was talking about the vacation they had on some famous ark. Wonder what that is. These words, family or vacation, never really caught my attention. When I began to pick up on their delight about freedom and the grand depictions of scenery, I couldn't help but want to hear more. If I cared for another like they do, they become my family? Right, now we have Gaia or something, right? After I'm done with these experiments, would I be able to take a vacation? Nacha, let's go over the results of your portal's functional unit. We've already noticed, but the unit that you are connected to cannot perfectly recreate the capabilities of a Protoss. Contacting this user so that we can create a Protoss that far surpasses those that the Empire has. Therefore, I must express that the results of the study is disappointing. The capsule is so tight that I can barely find room to move my feet. There's not a speck of dust, but this abnormal cleanliness is oddly unsettling. I think from my focus to my fate will be decided for me in here. Trying, I really am, but no matter how much I do, I have no power. Oh, you worry. Like the others, you have a unique, unlimited power within you. Say that the fate of the other replicas now lies on your growth. Yippee! No pressure though. Comes to finding your foils, we'll use Gaia for that, so don't be buttered with it. Check Nacha's status once more. Cognition normal. I bet it's under clear. It is in good condition, Director. Open the capsule. That's it for today, Nacha. You may go and rest. The lid to the capsule opens up. Borders of my feet emerged from the enclosed space where I could barely move my feet to the vast expanse of the room, where many other sweeters and replica alike moved to and from. I have a question. You my family, Director? Curious. What type of question I expected from a replica. What do you think? I'm not sure about the exact meaning of the word, but important to me is family. Is that so? Family. If I had any family left over, that'd be. Director, reporting a response between the recently acquired monsters organism with the tomorrow night. Okay, I'll be with you soon. You should head back as well. Gaia is probably waiting for you. Only time in day where I got to experience as much freedom as a human would be when I was with Gaia after routine checkups. Back, Nacha? Gaia. Huh? What's with that look? Nothing. There's still so much I don't understand yet. I'm so amazed how you were able to think up the name Nacha for me. I told you before, I came up with your name with whatever sounds stuck to me at the time. I've got no idea whether it's a name that humans would even use. Just make sure you don't bring it up in front of the researchers. Is that so? Neither Gaia gave me my name to prove that I was different from those other monsters. But I'd always been embarrassed to use our names in front of the humans. Maybe they'll be amazed by how amazing the name sounds. Those people just plaster failure to every single thing I do. That they're going to react the same way when they hear our names, so don't tell anyone else. Yeah. It's okay. I'm happy that you gave me a name. We found out later on that many of the other replicas also gave each other nicknames. I just only thought of it as the natural phase of us copying them. Names like Gaia or Nacha to them probably didn't hold much value. You hadn't saved me that day, I wouldn't be caring for you this much. I think you regret me saving you? Yeah, you know that's not what I meant. Gaffer. We'll give Nacha a good old chomp. I saw a Gaffer may be Gaia's companion, but it simply let out a frosty snort and calmly shook its head. Gaffer! I already know that a Gaffer and Elite are good friends. It wouldn't do such a thing. So annoying. I stomped her foot and turned to face the corner. The room wasn't that big, so there probably wasn't much meaning to the direction she was facing. What are you doing? Going to sleep. You do you. Air slips into your sleep pod. Doesn't seem like you're actually going to sleep though. No reason for me to stay awake. If Gaia's going to sleep, I follow suit and place myself into my own pod. Replica research was really no different from getting lost in the chaos. It took a long time, and more often than not, we ended up right where we started. After having repeating those dangerous missions so many times, it gradually became monotonous, walked day after day toward the unreachable tower. Testing the energy administration method to right stimulating the appetite regulating center. It will feel alien to you, but we've no other choice if you want to retain your strength. Are you ready? Feels weird, but it doesn't hurt. It's good to hear. Because of you, we've been able to significantly reduce the amount of time it takes to create other replicas. You're an outstanding specimen, never forget that. Now, today we'll be conducting a concentrated analysis of your Protoss functional unit. You'll feel the anesthesia soon. Just relax for now. Understood? Let's begin. Scalpel. Sir! There's no way the director didn't know that Elise and I were connected down to our nerves. Next week, Elise's eyes was bloodshot and I couldn't refrain from blinking often. Half a week later, Gaia received her surgery. Since then, Gaia would often poke at her own teeth. Seems that Agatha had a portion of its teeth modified. Nacha, we have 2 pieces of good news for you. Is the research finally over? So you can even joke with me now, is it? So the result of our latest research, we can now safely utilize highly concentrated chimeranite. Using the equipment we have at Laboratory 0, we can multiply your strength several-fold. Sure, you can guess what the second good news is then. What else do you think we can do with this high concentrated chimeranite? Won't be too surprised now. Able to create a perfect replica. We can finally close this chapter of our grueling study into replica research. Perfect replica? For the many cycles of research I've gone through, I'd learned what exactly happens to the replicas that failed. But that's the word they used to refer to those that would not make it. There'd be no more disposing of them. High chance that they'll become part of your family, Nacha. Having family meant that they would live on. Replica that were disposed of early in the life circle, to put in the researcher's words, would be treated as strange as photographies. Just as the director said, HA87 became a new member of my family. Was given a name by Gaia, and though she complained about they didn't understand why they needed a name, she never rejected it outright. Haku became our youngest sibling. Haku completed the research procedure that took me 7 months, only 2. What took me 2 weeks, Haku was able to do in 3 days. At least it felt as though light was breaking through on the path I had long been stuck on. And yet, Haku could never escape her own anxiety. I could have continued another 10 more minutes. I could have achieved as well as exceeding the projected goal. Limits are evident. If this is an experiment that even I'm failing, there's no longer a point to continuing this replica research. Not a single researcher who thinks you failed. The only one of us who made it as fast as you did. It's obvious. That's because I was born as the one who was forbidden from failing. Not afraid of being disposed of, it's just... Man, I would be scared of death. Shitless. Kinda more similar eye color to Gaia again. I wonder if that's any way of shape relevant. There he comes, but I'm no longer of use and disposed of. Will this lab be able to remain the way it is? The fate of everyone here hangs on my success, but I never even wanted any of this. A spoiled thing to say. But Haku wasn't wrong. Haku was also deemed a failure. There's no telling when the humans would pull the plug on the replica research. The day were to come, all of us replica would be disposed of. Humans would leave this planet. That's how it was. Humans would not be disposed of. They'd simply go on a vacation, go back to their families. Unlike us humans, we were given privileges. Haku's anxiety only grew worse, even when she recorded breakthroughs. But Gaia gave it her all, even when she failed over and over just to survive another day. And between these two, I learned what it's like to think like a human. Began to ponder on what I could do to secure our happiness. But no matter how many times I walked that road and how many turns I took, I always reached the same ending. Guys, how about we leave this place one day? If we leave, we wouldn't have to worry about all this anymore. The moment those words left my mouth, I felt as if I had stepped beyond an invisible barrier and opened onto an endless horizon. Words weren't exchanged that day. I knew that Gaia and Haku felt the same way I did. All 3 of us began to plan our escape together. One day, Haku came back with a flower she received from the director. He said it was a flower that grew somewhere in the rural regions of Delta. Haku had on a peculiar expression. Again, I asked Haku if she wanted to be free, but she gave me no response. Her eyes were glazed over and void, as if something that devoured her consciousness. That night, I wasn't able to sleep well. I was oddly insecure and strangely afraid of what tomorrow would bring. I open my eyes, I see the familiar landscape of the interior of the chaos. Like other times, I cannot hear any announcements made by the lab. Maybe I should have a look around. cadaver of a replica. What if this also has more data from the simulation? What goal did the researchers have when they generated this dead replica? Monster's corpse. Can discern its original shape. If I put it in my mouth, will my hunger be satiated? Cadaver of a replica. The ID tag around the neck gleams. Looking closely, I read the letters Ga-17. There's little with corpses. Is this outside the testing environment? There's no way to tell yet. I'm not sure if I can find the correct path, but I have to continue. Forward. We're looping, aren't we? Further on ahead, I wanted to do the corpse of a replica again. Check where was my only other option was to do the same, while the chaos and find a way forward. For the moment, both of the objective and my will are replaced by raw instinct. Eyes. Don't eat them though, please. On a metallic sand, as I take a deep breath, and impetus hunger rushes over me. Drag my feet in the direction my instincts lead me, towards the smell. Monster savagely tearing into a replica. Another wave of powerful hunger rushes over me. Overwhelmed by hunger, I lunge at the heat of my instinct. When I open my mouth wide, a familiar face looks up. It's the same. Each time requires support capabilities, and starting with Gaia, all of us will probably be disposed of. Next. Archer, it's your turn. Just after the course of anxiety, what must have you achieved? It's impossible to figure out for yourself why you are born into this world. Or it's become clear that our end goal is identical. And it must be so spooky to just know that if you fail that one task you were given, you know, you're worthless to live. I could see some trauma being in there. I squeeze my eyes shut. I feel a crisp breeze. Flower bed, I've seen this before. So the screen, and here I am lying atop of it. Like just picking the flowers, taking the time to smell each of them. Flowers that I wanted to feel, freedom that I wanted to feel. Vector? Fact. Oh, my nature, you seem to have a bad dream. Be that you no longer needed to call me that? Now, how about we take a deep breath? The one of these flowers will help you relax. My head turned to the side. I followed the director's instruction and slowly breathed in through my nose. I don't know what a flower could smell like. Absolutely buffoon. Did you really believe that you ever get to know? Stop trying to deceive yourself. You can never be like us humans. You'll never get to know how warm and pleasant it smells outside of this decrepit laboratory. It's your fate, Nature. I was in the dirt that I had been lying up and turned cold and hard, just like how the experiment capsule. Always been this way? How can she even dream of flowers if she never experienced them before? I felt like the wind quickly devolved into the busy cacophony of the researchers. Did the director ever once call me by my name? Just one day. I'd like to take one day to myself. Archer, reading up normal biosignal fluctuations. Administering sedative. My eyes shut open. As if by response, I found myself confined to the suffocating and cold interior of the experiment capsule. Archer consciousness restored. Pulse was pervasive and cognitive response is all normal. Researchers who usually had their eyes glued to their data pads were now running around frantically. While we were doing so, the pod slit began to open. You okay, Nature? Shivering with cold sweat, I took a look over the lesion. Letting out a cooling noise, the lesion spit something out. A small golden tag. An older generation name tag with the letters Ga-17. Yep. Return to lesion. Put another thought. I actually tossed the attack back at Legion. Quickly swallows it. This time my stomach doesn't hurt. Archer, let's move you to the examination room. Seems the visitors notice and turn around as they head toward the examination room. Class 17. I saw that in my dream. My head. The line between dream and reality began to blur. Nightmares were stacking swiftly in my mind as I followed the researchers. At the time, I had no idea what future awaited the research facility. It's time to all get swallowed whole. Army 20. Maybe I'm realizing this is gonna be a long stream. Maybe. Okay. Oh, I never realized I could do this. Could you always do this? I mean, this will take me longer, but you know, it's probably the cooler thing to do. Chaos steadily expanding outside the air defense tunnel. What I'm meaning to say is, guys, how about we leave this place one day? Leave the laboratory? Let's go and see the scenery we only saw on those screens ourselves. First it flows without end, that endless sea and those fields where flowers bloom in different colors with each passing season. See them with our own two eyes. We can... Hey, what's on your mind? I noticed this recently, but you seem to be zoning out more often. Please, at your every place. We've been thinking about how we're going to leave this place. Since the day Haku's changed. No once mentioned about being nervous. She actually doesn't want to leave. Say something I shouldn't have. What are you talking about? Haku also agreed with us when you first brought it up. I mean, it does seem like she's keeping something from us, but... Hey, maybe the borders research is almost over. Then that means Haku will soon be free, living her life outside the lab. Maybe that's why she's not as invested. Since that talk she had with the director, he's been putting on a different expression. He even got flowers. Would that be why? Nice. Haku! Oh, I feel like we haven't seen you for a while. You've been receiving a lot more procedures than us lately. Hey, all of us are going to stick together. There's someplace we need to go. Someplace we need to go? That will be Laboratory Zero. Hector. Days of the largest episode of Children Night Aura and also the place where the chaos-related events began. Your final upgrade will take place there, Nacha. Until now, your affiliate unit's energy was heavily reliant on your condition, Nacha, and other environmental factors. Long ago, the name that everyone used to refer to Legion changed from Protoss Function Unit to Affiliate Unit. Legion was not happy with that. The impending upgrade, you will always be at the peak of your condition and live your life at the full extent of your strength. Doesn't that excite you? What happens after this research is over? Oh. You never let me down, do you? Much more wiser than your peers, always looking to the future. Most of your upgrade will be used towards HH-87's research material. That will be one more step closer to completing Paladin's own Protoss. A true replica will be completed. You can almost see the finish line. Hey, that pet, did you just laugh? Your first time outside Laboratory 1? Not really that different from the simulations you've been going through, so here's no need to be anxious. Come, tell me when you're ready. Hector straightened his crooked attire and left the room. I stood staring at where the director had been standing with a dumbfounded face and just plopped to the ground. Oh, lucky you, Haku. You gotta be the first one to succeed out of us replicas. Not too happy about that. That's because I figured out something more important. Maybe a little bit more straightforward. The director sets us now. You all heard it correctly, right? Going outside Laboratory 1? Then might be our chance. Our chance? Or are you saying, let's run away before we arrive at Laboratory 0? Come with us, won't you, Haku? Wouldn't make it on your own strength alone, so we'll see. Depends on my mood. You little brat. Yeah, we'll make it out of here. I mean, at the end, you're not wrong. This is the defense sign that leads to Laboratory 0. Essentially, this sign to move replica from lab to lab without getting caught, but now it serves two purposes. Should withstand most attacks. Maybe something there to threaten us here. Not enough alternative methods to relocate you back to the lab, so need to worry. Sure. Other researchers are coming as all equipped with expanded gear and self-defense weapons. Don't know if I'll be able to. If you didn't die, it would be possible with just the two of you. Let's say you two can blow a hole in the wall here. It's not going to take the researchers that long to catch up to the two of you. Yeah, if it's just the two of you. Haku? So are you going to help us or not? Stop talking in circles and just tell us. Shh, till here. Something the matter? Oh. Nothing. There's no need to rush. This place has already been overrun by them. What is that? What happened? We've run into a problem. Multiple enemies detected outside the tunnel. Lab structures are under attack. But no way. It's chaos monsters. Oh. So that's what V monsters look like. Wow, a lot more catastrophic than I thought it'd be. What are you talking about? Snowy, did you bring them here? Just to escape the lab? Nope. I don't have the brains to listen to me. Smileless beings will either eat or are eaten. I warned this, as I knew that they'd be here. Come on everyone, get out of here. Retreat to the nearest lab. Back there. I was planning on reactivating the auto portal once this last step was finished, so right now. Looked for a way to protect the lab. The Haku and the others sent head immediately to Lab 0. Oh, he's gone. He's not running away. Maybe he's headed to the broadcasting tower. Haku, what the heck are you talking about? Oh what? Forget it. Archer will have to go without Haku. What's that? You over there. There's a hole in the wall over there where the monsters attacked. Researchers are all gone. The director won't be able to find us. Now's our only chance. Damn it. Run for a moment. What are the monsters appearing? Everything that you said is right, Gaia. Fought monsters like these time and time again in our simulations. We can do this. And with your strength now, these ones will be a piece of cake. Go do your best out there, sis. Right, Gaia? Okay. I do like actually, saying edition like that. It is cute. That is a useless card. Why did they give it to me? This stacks, hopefully. Well, stacks does remain over turns. And now we do have enough velocity actually. I think we're just ending one at this point though. Oh. Right. 3 cards and then... Aww. I guess still go for that. We can end it then. My deck is empty. I feel like something like this should just trigger a war. And this is like kind of like some attack cards. We did it. We really won. We took out the monster in real life. It's my power. Also that we had defeated lied on the ground with its mouth agape, motionless. Then it disappeared without so much as leaving a trace. My mind, the shape of teeth becomes vivid. Forgotten hunger surges through me. Of course you'd win. We are replica who were born from them and further enhanced. Of course that would mean we retain a part of the nature. Hey, Haku, if you're going to spout nonsense, then just shut up and stay still. Nacha, let's go. Just you and me. If Nacha can run away from here that easily. What? Just saw what we are, with your own 2 eyes. We were born to eat or be eaten. And Nacha, but she has the power to devour anything before her. Instead of getting lost in this world that we've never seen before, I think it'd be better get that upgrade that Vector's talking about and become stronger? You, what are you spouting? But listen to her, Nacha. Come on, let's go. Know what it is you truly desire. Is it over to level 0? I personally place the thing you want in your hands for you. We're gonna protect with Haku. So I thought, Nacha, why? Didn't know all this time. But Nacha's wanted all along isn't freedom. It's instinct. Come, Nacha, I lead the way. Sorry, Gaia. Oh, Nacha, can't be like this. Suppose we escape together. I choose the bad end here. I feel like getting the power now would help us with escaping at some point. I guess this is a bigger branch than just this. I still feel like it's... I guess maybe just following her would have led to this anyways. Maybe I need to then compare. I feel like I do like this more than the story normal gamers. Okay, I lied. What if I'd realized this? I mean, okay, we at least running Nacha. But I did not enjoy the last deck I played. This way, we just have to follow this path here and we arrive at Laboratory 0. How did you know? About what? Direction to Laboratory 0. Monsters will attack us at the tunnel. Even about these instincts of mine that have tried so hard to hide. It's Haku's power. These aren't things you can figure out just because you're stronger than us. You're not the Haku that I know. Who are you? Always so curious. Don't fret over such small things. Besides, you'll find out soon enough. I tell you everything once we arrive. Maybe we'll slowly go over things on our way there. Tell me what you want to know most. Delta's outdoor scenery? Taste of monsters swallowed whole? Or to find truth? Run, get away from here! Oh no. How bullish. Haku, get the researchers someplace safe. I handled those monsters. Not used to this, but if things are as strong as the ones I've encountered in simulations, take them on individually. Okay, it's time to show you why 7 is kinda cool. I also have to read on this. That was cool. There's no end to them. Struggle so desperately. Well, I told you, I know about your instincts. So many delectable morsels here, so why hesitate? Enjoy it, it's your feast. Between mealtime, Haku instantly wipes out the monsters and begins to devour them mercilessly. It didn't matter the color of blood they bled, or whether the flesh was muscle or fat. I mean, hey, protein is protein. But what can I say? The color of the dripping blood, the cells of muscles and fat that made up biological tissue. I think that Haku had insisted was peeking out on her face. Each time Haku ripped apart a new monster, something new would grow from her teeth, claws, an arm or leg, even tumors. When Haku smiled, the fiber down to the molecular level would scream. So much delicious meat for me to eat. Right? And that is why we had to kill Haku. Maybe following Haku was wrong. I mean, in a sense, it's the best way to always go to the bad endings first, I feel like, with how it works, since you have to always go back one step. But I also like basically going already the good route. I'm not sure if this choice was the good route. I think in the first tower could I actually achieved getting the good ending basically first right. That felt nice. I want to achieve the same thing again. This isn't what I wanted. Is that so? Sako put on a devilish smile. A slit appeared on her face, and it opened up to reveal another eye. The new eye violently shivered until it popped, oozing vicious liquid down Haku's face. In moments, one more perforations erupted across her face, like bubbles rising through the thick sludge. Somehow I could audibly hear these eyes scream and still as they shook vehemently. Oh, I know you very well. So there's no need to be afraid of me. Haku stretched her hand out and placed them on my shoulder. Undeniable sensation sent shivers down my spine. Her hand, why did it feel so clammy and rough, as if it was covered in calluses? Because all of the combat up and at him, then we've got a little more to go. That figure. Would it have rampaged? We checked it yesterday, everything was fine. Ah, some invited guests. Oh no. Yeah, maybe it's a better end if we start eating humans. Oh, let's continue, Nacho. All the research I had undergone felt like wandering through chaos with no end in sight, but I was guided by a clear purpose and goal. Such Bear and Haku. Couldn't discern why I ended up here, where I even hungered. Only was that Haku had become my new lighthouse, just as the tower once was during chaos simulations. I think I knew deep down that what awaited me at my destination was swoon. All I could do was walk forward. I would, as I say, overall, this writing is a lot more fun than, what the main story was. I'm glad. And even cool background animations. Once we arrive at the bottom from here, you'll learn about everything you've wanted to know. Where your instincts came from, or how you knew that the monsters would appear. Told me you'd show me what true freedom was. Is it also at the bottom? Of course it is. We how to attain freedom without ever leaving the lab. I give you a sense of liberation you never felt before. You can look forward to it. Yeah, I think we've chosen the bad route. What do you think? Much better than any place you'd end up living outside, no? Chaos actually began burgeoning from right here, likely to the high concentration of Geminites stored here. Right. Is the Vector here too? The Vector? It's nothing to do with this. Why would you even pick him up? You said I should receive that upgrade the Vector mentioned. Nacho, you really have to stop being so stupid. Vector will never give you your freedom, it actually will keep you from it. But you know, don't you? The only reason you're holding back on your own instincts is because of those humans. The same ones who are using you for their own success. Haku, what are you? Said you wanted to know what true freedom was, didn't you? Gar-17, think back on the replica you devoured. Gar-17 found freedom because of you. You no longer need to hide instinct, nor are they confined to the laboratory. Turn to the void. You all live free in equality. I get it now. You don't know what the void is yet, do you? Oh boy. Want me to show you? My final present, my dear sister, so that you may find your freedom. I'll enjoy your taste. Well, since we brought our cool team, I feel like the good ending is that we beat up Haku right there. Haku, you. Not like you. I won't become a monster like you. Actually, this is... Did I not choose? I did not choose. Maybe I feel like it's more cinematic to actually use her for this. Shield. Maybe we do need shield. Always use this. Shield the hell up, I guess. Maybe I should have played it the other way around. Now we're getting a lot of predation though. This might be rough. One of this is a forced loss. That would be interesting. I don't think he did that before. Yeah, we're not gonna trigger that inspiration.
소용없다.
But yes, yeah, they do basically just create more Haku. Told them Holy Legion. Well, it's time to feast. I knew we would get a cool time. Elysian does its thing. This has quite amusing struggle. It ended soon. It was fun while it lasted, Nature. Okay, that's probably forced death. Oh, I can't become monster like this. Develop your ego, you got this. Archer defeated by Haku. Ending, okay. That's probably the bad end. That was quite enjoyable watching you struggle. Thought I would put other monsters to shame. Indeed qualify to be a member of my family. Neither the lab experience could turn you into such a beast. What have you done, Haku? All the researchers here wanted one thing. Be the portals for the Pantheon. One that is more powerful than anything the Empire could dream of. And the source of all the experience and research, with a glimpse of a world far beyond the reach of any ordinary human. Yes, now you've become the tentacle monster of everyone's dreams. And you're curious where all these wellness monsters came from. That is actually an interesting thing. I don't think we have any real chaos lore yet. So much you've always wanted to know, Archer. I know, what's the world outside of the lab? Not the inside of your guts. Listen, get her. No need to resist, I'll show you everything. You break free of the constraints that bound us and discover the truth beneath a boundless freedom. Lies. It's you who has been corrupted by instinct. You do is consume. Now, time to become one with me. I take you to her. Hi. It was worth it, why? Yeah? Am I? This breeze caresses me. Along with it, the scent of something unfamiliar. Is this flowers? Weekends was rather cold and more foreign than I had thought. Earth, stone, water. I do recall hearing that nature wasn't as warm as I imagined it to be. Still, so this is freedom. I'm hungry. You feel the same way, don't you, Legion? All I came in contact with my outstretched hand was a pulpy, gelatinous ooze sloughing downward. One sharp vases and that single eye had all congealed into a sludge in the palm of my... No, not Elysian. Is that how it is then? Sad. Okay, man. Now I'm feeling very bad. Running through my limbs. Maybe that's why my mind has become more aware of my consciousness fading away. It's like Haku said, everything is gradually. So this is what you taste like, Nature. Thanks for the meal. Time to go to this then. Yep, give me just a choice. I'm so glad it did add this. And we can also skip to... Oh, it's game time. Skip to everything. Escaping with Gaia still. Oh, I should not skip to... Come on, hurry. You have to get as fast away as possible, else we get caught. Haku, I still don't understand what your goal is in all of this. Starvy. So that's how it will be, huh? It's alright, you eventually come back to me. Just hamster escaped the laboratory with Gaia. Okay, this is... It's interesting that there's some fights where you can choose other teams, and sometimes you are really bound to story. What's this? Is this what the outside look like? But if they do it like this, I think every time I get a choice, I will just for my own team then. No flowers, no rivers, just pollution and dirt. It even smells worse than a lab. Welcome to the worst place in existence. Both of us were acutely aware of the difference between what was dirty and what was clean. Lab had certain areas that had to be kept pristine, but there were other areas used for waste. So it's the central area, any area that was frequented by the beasts had always been clean. Must be one of the reasons why the monsters attacked? Let's keep going. As long as we keep walking, we should eventually find something else. This building looks similar to the lab, but the area is as corrupted as everywhere else. Was the lab even bigger than I thought? Hey Nacha, doesn't it seem cleaner over there past those buildings? Let's keep an eye out, Gaia. That's it over there. Yeah. I do like my ferocity. Well, it's not... Man, this card is literally useless if you... You just have it in your hand. We hate to see that. Will I stun you? Maybe. Or actually we do get to play it at least. I wanted to say the right thing would be to use mealtime first, but that doesn't help. Eat them. Well, this is a very thin deck, I'm realizing. Why do you even give me that then? Actually, we... Oh, you will just perish. Get eaten. Well, not like we need to optimize then. Do we have the explanation why she now can already do the mealtime thing though? I felt like this would be her big power, basically. This is odd. Why aren't we getting any closer? My anxiety sets in, but just tightens and my breaths shorten. Just a little bit. Just a bit further. Huh? We're back where we started? Oh, we moved away from here. Around us, even the contaminated areas here are the same as before. Can be. Archer, do you remember what I told you before the test started? Odo's the one who finds the way forward within chaos. I'll be testing too if you have that capability. Strange. Certainly I'm moving toward it, but not getting any closer. The chaos have manifested from the lab? Archer. Memories of the first test flashed through my mind. A familiar unease hardens in certainty. No! Maybe you've already noticed, but given that you are connected to cannot perfectly recreate the capabilities of a Protoss. Yeah, I get it. It's a real chaos. Not a simulation. If you fail to escape from here, then I'll be... Archer, get a hold of yourself. Never be able to leave. Archer. Yeah. There's nothing I can do. Up yet. We can get out of here. Okay, let's try that vote. The Legion wanted to go back at the fork in the vote. Know what you can do this time. I believe in you, Nasha. Yeah. Hear that? The humor. Let's not over that direction. If it's the Vector, he might know a way out of this. I'll whip him. That's how I go. The chase the screams. I found the Vector in the dire station. Found him. Vector. You too. Nacha, those monsters are trying to eat me. Quick, save me. I felt a pang of hunger deep in my gut as I looked up in the monsters bearing the teeth. I wasn't any different from these beasts. Wandering the chaos, seeking to satiate the indulgence, a cycle that I cannot escape. Vector. Am I a failed replica? What? But now it's not the time for that. Kill those things over there. If you don't, we're all done for. We'll find a way out of this no matter what. Escape from here. If you don't, I'm even going to try and save you. What? That's how it is done. Must have thought too highly of you two. You really think that I tell you? Losing technology that will place the Python back on the map. The Guru of Pharmaceuticals' greatest innovation, the replicas. And my own legacy run away from me? If that would ever happen. Right? You kinda deserve death, not gonna lie, man. All of you are surely dolls for me to control. You're simply replica. Get rid of these monsters. Haven't you always been subservient to me? That man really knows how to piss me off. Nacha, there's no need to listen to him. Was even better. With him gone, there'll be no one else left who can stop us. Just try until we get out of here. Let's go, Nacha. We fight on our own freedom. Nacha. Gehen von auch vor dem Spielen vielleicht direkt die hier. All too well how instinct tries those monsters. If I were allowed to make my own choice, the ones decided for me by the humans. To overcome my instincts, shut away these temptations, and tell the path that I genuinely believe to be the correct one. What decision did I make again? Back during my initial tests, I saw the replica being eaten alive by the monster. I'm not gonna save the stick. No more business here. Let's go, Gaia. So you're no different from the other replicas. Of course you were. That's how it ends then. Me, a failure. After your first test, I just wanted to dispose of you. I want my dentist to keep you alive. Yeah. First to consider me family. Sorry, Naja. You know, maybe open with this, or not like I'm a doll to be controlled by you. The Vector. I have a question. I'm not a fan of having the flesh. I guess if you do it not in one sitting. Nacha. What's the feeling I've been searching for all this time? There's no chain us no more. Let's try again until we finally escape. But different from those monsters. Oh. Nacha. Get hold of yourself, Nacha. What are you doing? Okay, I guess I failed replica. That's Nacha. I guess we were supposed. I mean, can you? But this has a battle business associated. Interesting. Can you blame me for not wanting to save the man? Worst food chain. Like as that. As the monsters tore into him, all I did was watch. And while I kept convincing myself that this was how I would attain the freedom I'd yearned for. But that was it that I wanted so badly. Life now doesn't seem to be it. It's something far, far apart from what this is. Nacha, get up, run! She was blurred by Gaia's voice calling out to me. If I now would be able to escape the lab. Oh, what a pointless thought. I'm unable to find the right path within chaos. Be a sliver of chance if we kept trying over and over. But now I no longer have the will to fight. I'm sorry, Gaia. Don't know what to do anymore. Nacha! Except the innate instincts I had as a monster. I would have the capability to find the right path for supporters. I had to be human. What would I have had to struggle for? Replica like me, the most important thing is not to fail. I see, I failed. I no longer need to fight or struggle. Nacha, your arm! One has clamped down on my arm, tearing it right off. Beside me, Elysion's wing is torn off almost simultaneously. But none of the beast's sharp claws pierce straight into Elysion's one big eye. My vision seems to be leaving me as well. It's so blurry. Nacha. Knowing Gaia, she would probably never leave me behind. She'd do everything she can to save me. I see. I killed both us. Let's go. We'll probably meet again when we arrive inside the beast's stomach. Maybe I should have given up right from the start. Then I wouldn't have to go through all of those failures in the first place. That's not the spirit. My blurry world turned even darker and felt my head jerk away from my neck. For the first time in life, I felt peace. That's a lot is maybe a bit a stretch, but it's nice to also get all the XP material and stuff like that. Why does this load so long? Here is he singing. Okay, we're saving him. And save the director. What? You hear what he... I feel like, you know, I would have probably most likely saved him if he wouldn't have had this evil monologue there, not gonna lie. I will see where the filming of this goes, but yeah, I mean, I understand that, you know, the thing is not becoming the monster. But also, I feel like I don't want to become this man's subservient pet, basically. Did you hear what Avenger said? He's using us so that he can live. That he'll even tell us how to escape even if we save him. Instead of locking our own selves in this lab for the rest of our lives, we should at least try to find a way out. No. I'm the one who suggested we escape in the first place, but killing know someone who's about to die before my own eyes. Saving a life does not need a reason. My instinct craves to feed him, my will longs to feed him. Or that's what you call faith, that it's for everyone to live on. That is the very thing that enables me to live as myself, as nature. Forgive me, Gaia. Just this once, can you let me have this one? I can get you sometimes, he's so annoying. But I take responsibility for what comes after then, okay? It's Gaia? Cool. Let's do this. Get eaten. Did it. We won. Took out all of these monsters in real life. Really amazing, nature. Huh. Just like you watching my back. Why did you choose not to kill me? The other replica would have prioritized their own safety. Well, guess because you're different from the other replicas, that's as they always said. That's nonsense. Sure, your numbers during brain tissue analysis and psychological assessments came out much higher than the others, but still, to this degree. Have we created what the boulders can actually do? Seems the two of you were the most human of all the other replica. Thank you, Nacho and Gaia. Vector, is us cause by our names? The person of our Ranger's director would know the names of his own children. Apologies for getting carried away earlier. According to the like everyone else, I spoke much too harshly. I don't get this, man. I guess this is one of the instincts that humans carry. You're laughing. It's nothing. I think that human nature is just as serious as that of any other creature. I put my attention at ease. Alright, so you want to escape the lab? Well, escape is impossible. The lab has been completely soiled by chaos. Oh? Should have caught on sooner. Foolishly made excuses to myself that all of the chaos and monster-related omens were simply events caused by the replica research. I had even prepared defensive countermeasures in case something like this happened, but much of them seem to have been disabled. Wouldn't have been compromised to this extent unless someone had already tampered with things, surely not. Nice, you're lying, right? Man, it was Haku, okay? All people can leave. You know everything there is related to the lab. Let us out, we even saved your life. It's what the dangers outside the laboratory. The two of you must return. You don't have to believe me. If the two of you return, I plan to upgrade your pyramid for combating monsters. It's the only way we'll survive. Vector. I knew it. He was planning this all from the moment we saved him. Nacha, it's not too late for us to go. We don't have to stay. Sorry, Gaia, Nacha. I'll do whatever it takes to protect the two of you. All the other workers of Kaguya Pharmaceutical. Turn to the lab at once. I'll be with you soon. Huh? Wait. That's rude. Wait, he could do this all this time? Gaia, Director, what have you? Well, even if the worst were to happen, we have more than enough ways to send you back to the laboratory, so there's no need to worry. We both had a life core we put inside you during your surgeries, but I think I'll be using them so soon. They did our entire budget and planning those things inside you too. Guess something like our budget doesn't matter anymore. I'm sure Gaia Nacha were here just a moment ago, but they've gone. Haku. Oh, Director Yuma, that's hurtful. You call me by my name too. We're family, aren't we? Haku looks nothing like you. I'm sure you already know that. In fact, I'm not the ultimate replica that you desired. I'm doing everything I can to become even more powerful. So you've consumed much more than just one or two. I'm next on your menu then. It's one what it tastes like, especially you. There's no need to worry. Your anguish responsibilities, burns, obsessions. What you have freedom so great that you can put all of that to rest. Get eaten. I guess I also really wish that trauma codes are things that get some voiceover at some point. Is this actually a good ending? Mutation. I guess it's a good ending, since we need to unlock the 2 ending. This is... Press open. The familiar side of the laboratory interior greets me. The cold virtual shell of the capsule presses against my back. You're back where it all started. It felt as if I had just come back from the biggest chaos simulation yet. I could no longer tell if it was a dream or if my mind had shattered, unable to discern reality from simulation. I pick up on noises on the other side of the glass. Researchers are rushing around frantically, shouting at the top of their voice. Nacha Gaia returned to the capsule. The Director must have used the life course. What? Then that means the Director. We cannot confirm what is or has happened since the defense tunnel CCTVs are down. However, knowing that Haku was making its way there. At the time, I had no idea what it meant to have returned to the advanced capsule or the life core was. I had no time to dwell on it. The fatigue that had been building since I resolved to escape came crashing over me all at once. Simply prayed with all my heart that this was all but a dream. For a long time, for a very, very long time, I closed my eyes. I heard that in the split second before death, when life flashes before their eyes, suddenly I did not have a life. I replayed my past as though that fleeting flash had been stretched out to a tedious length. I first awoke in the lab and was given the name Nacha. First time I met Gaia in the chaos and had to wander aimlessly. The Director gave me my first ever compliment. The moment I got to watch Haku being born. The emotions, the atmosphere around me, the choice that I had made of my own will. I pondered on where I made mistakes, or which of those I could consider failures. I decided not to regret saving the Director. That was my choice. A choice I made from my own life experiences. It was now a choice that had become a part of me. It is true that you should stand to your choices. Even if it's maybe not the outcome you wanted. It is what you chose. Researchers poured the remainder of their time to transforming me. I was no longer starting to become Paladin's porters, rather a soldier to combat chaos. It seemed they were doing everything they could to prepare for any monster attacks that reached the lab. The chaos that sprouted from Laboratory Zero eventually proliferated. One could stop Haku's rampage. Laboratory 1 fell victim to the corruption, forced to live into a life of hiding, avoided Haku or any other life form. State calculator pharmaceuticals Porter's experiments couldn't be found out by anyone else. There were times then I wondered, was my existence in this world such a bad thing? No, don't say that! And we survived, giving it everything we had. We continued on until we met you. Thank you for saving me, Captain. And did what you did? What do you mean? It's just like you had saved your Director. I decided that I'd save you. Oh, I guess we Porters have something in common. That's a bad joke to make. Replica, not a Porters. And no different from a failed experiment. There's no way that I could share something in common with the Brutus from the Empire. You do. Are you being sincere? I had to wrestle with my many choices myself. However, if the reason was just, then there's never been any regrets. Captain. Sudden hot softness swelled within my chest. Couldn't tell why I was crying. I'd felt happiness and sadness before. But this was the first time both of them came at once. Didn't know what to do. Would be interesting to actually also, get more Porter's backstory at some point. It must be fucked up shit, right? Instantly we grabbed a hold of the captain, plunged my face into his coat. Couldn't stop myself from not letting go. Thank you. Thank you, Captain. Maybe I'd long believed myself to be nothing more than a life stained with failure and taboo. Those words were true. Only I was thus different, not a mistake. Then I do have reason to continue. The end. Now we need to get a true ending. I'm not sure if we actually need to do the combat notes or already get the endings. Or we just do get it. Chapter 1, Love, Preserved Hope and Confinement. I can see the horizon. It was as they said, where solid land should have been, it was filled with water, torn into a single endless line beyond my gaze. As though something slumbers beyond the horizon, waves wearing heights roll in and out, gently soaking the beach. Is this really what they call the ocean? I mean, I guess it is an ocean. There's this nightmare house's multitudes of artificially environments from the annals of Earth's history. Whether it's the sea or the mountains, we can see whatever it is you'd like. So this really is the sea. In the sense, it's also just a replica though. Yippee! Why did you bring me here? I think that is a small present. Captain, come on! Take your boots off, dip your toes in, and feel how refreshing the water feels. Never know what might happen. I'll just safely walk along the beach. What about you, Captain? Captain simply shook the head without saying anything else. He bolted across the sand and went ankle deep into the waters. Mr. Wasser here comes my super duper water splash! That's cold. Make a mistake and I'm way out there in the ocean. So, you never know my bad luck. It's our feet, you know? I don't think anything that can happen. Bye there. I just have to pull out my real secret weapon. Ascending the Super Mega Hydro Splash Attack! Sorry? Ocean's practically Miss Mika's home ground. I don't know if I can tackle Miss Mika well enough. They will explode with water. Just a moment, mate, don't tell me you're actually going to... I'm gonna catch you. Oh no, it's time to dunk her. No, get away from me. And that instant, a massive column of water erupted, hurling the few people who had been playing along the shore high into the air. Amidst the cheers and the screams, the geyser of water ended up coming down where the captain and I were standing. Ah, that's so cold. I soaked. Are you okay, Nacho? Yeah, I'm okay, but... ocean's waters are really salty. Oh, we're going into the mountains. That is neat. This is a new background. I don't think we've seen it before. Wait a minute. I think we used up too much energy at the sea. Help. You feel the same way too, don't you, Mr. Wasser? Oh, you fell. So soon? It's the mountains. Is there something in the dirt? You've been staying for a while. Oh. It's dust. My team's the door is always cold and hard. Just as curious what it'd be like in person. Go on, have a good feel. We put in a lot of work to create the dirt here. Captain told me about how the Ark's mountains came to be. Some of the city's mountains came as close to 9% of its ancestral counterpart on Earth. Huh? How did they make the Ark? Even going as far as getting down the correct rocks and trees, which differ depending on region. Even the flowers that they had planted all those years back have pollinated and spread so that the smell could be picked up wherever you went. And though I never brought up the fact that I wanted to see a flower bed, Captain brought me there first. It's like you know exactly what I'm thinking. It's because you showed me. I did read your memories. Suddenly recalled the words I said to the captain before my treatment. I'm remembering this now. When I say the thing I said, face suddenly heats up as the sound of my heartbeat gradually gets louder in my head. I'm such an idiot. What? As I lost in thought, I slipped on my own and fell onto the ground. I certainly didn't help, as my face heated up even further. I quickly buried my face into my hands. The moment I close my eyes, a fresh floral sun comes rushing in. The dirt beneath me was both cold and warm, both hard and soft. The sunlight was bright, but the leaves up in the trees provided a comfortable dark shade. The mountain that humans had artificially created aboard this ark had birthed its own vitality. That has gifted a freedom that I never experienced before. Aww. Even something artificial can have its own freedom. But do you dream of electric sheep? It can carry such fragrant flowers across great distances. And beautiful nature embracing all those around it. Any reason someone was made as something that stays in the past. You have your own life to live, let's go. From now on, I want you to think about who you want to become. Captain. He sprawled out on the ground and stretched, then burst into laughter, so I never laughed at this in like my entire life. Then I found my freedom. It's artificially made bed of flowers. And story. Huh. I wonder, did they... I guess I'm still missing one ending though. Did they change that you don't need to get all done? Yeah, I'm only at 68%. How did we follow this route? Should be kinda trivial for... Oh, we can change you? It should be kinda trivial for us to do then. Level 20. Yeah, this is over before it started. I mean, it's good as it could be someone's first trauma code. And I sure as I appreciated that I was able to do mine when I started the game on release. You know, I'm fine. Oh, I cannot even trivialize you. I mean, we kinda trivialize you, but in an awful way. Oop. Just getting the homing lasers is so nice. Realized if we get the flash thing, I can slightly change this. I probably still want to find for better decks now. I felt very lucky when I made that Serenal deck, but you can always improve. But there's the end. Those are number 9 and 12. I'm just missing one battle. Alright. Actually, let's try to get that ending and use the battles for like when I can talk a bit about the story then and how I feel about the trauma code. Because, you know, I still enjoyed it. I do hope we over time really get trauma codes for everyone, even the 4-stars and everything. I feel like, honestly, I do prefer having a story like this over... okay, that is wrong. I do like if there's also an overarching story. I guess the seasonal story you had was pretty good at introducing the characters. But yeah, maybe it's too hard to judge where the plot goes with everything going on with the writing. There's no need to save another life at the cost of ignoring these instincts. Decent bore sharp fangs, and within me an instinct to indulge in war strength burned with a searing intensity. Both mine and Leeson's teeth mercilessly tore into flesh. Ah! What followed was a symphony of flesh-tearing and screams bereft of their owner. During the procession, there were intermittent pauses where I found myself comparing the texture difference between the monsters and the replica. I soon succumbed to the rally, mauling at whatever my hands decided to correspond to next. I've become the monster. Replica Nature is going on, ability control failed, commencing emergency shutdown. Yippee! I guess... Okay, I actually really like the change that you can see the true ending without having to see all the other endings. It felt a bit anticlimactic when you basically went down the road of the good ending and then did not get to see it till you've seen all the bad ends first. I guess it's merit to both approach. But hey, I now have the choice of what I want. Choices are always good. Opened my eyes to suffocating confinement of my capsule. I could hear dulled voices from beyond the transparent pane. Spatial pattern was within our estimates, but these numbers associated with them are far outside what we accounted for. Even if it was just a virtualized test environment, we choose to ignore it for too long, it may end up causing damage. Dr. Yuma, you must make your decision. We've seen this before with a few of our previous samples, have we not? Every time you chose to dispose of them. I know. However, what if we increase our control over the environment? That way, the numbers will... Dr. Yuma. Dispose of. What is this dispose you're talking of? Subject number Gaia's consciousness has not yet returned even after we closed simulation. Seems it experienced so much mental strain within the virtual environment. Vector, natural will now break free of our control. Damn it, did the experiment fail this time too? Fine, don't leave a single trace behind in the course of it entirely. Pay no heed to it when it wails and thrashes about. Experiment. No. I understood the words, but was unable to find the meaning behind them. Regardless, whatever they are planning to do to me no longer matters. I simply hunger. The capsule explode? I grasped onto the closest meal and chomped down on it. Tastes different from black replica or monster. But this is important, lore. But how could this... Vector, you must advocate. just beyond our control. I plucked my meals in quick succession, enjoying the crunching texture one after another. Each meal I seem to be growing bigger and bigger. That other room is getting smaller and smaller. Man, she just became basically Haku. Initiate lockdown procedures immediately. Ion, get your asses to the nearest evac tunnels now. Her lab explodes into frantic panic. Cap onto more of the quitters as they scurry across the room. The security guards have their shields and guns. Blah, it won't taste so good. She just has become, Let's zone out. When I came to, I noticed I was just about big enough to swallow my meal soul. I was still hungry. I wiggled along. I won't particularly run into any issues, for I have swallowed anything and everything they used to dispose of me with. Oh, maybe that's not it. Research, dispose of? What did those words mean again? I was even thinking about just now. I was born again to feast, to hunger. Just going to eat a bit more. Hope this planet has something left over for me. Maybe. Assume this was all the story then? 81 to... Let's quickly go to this combats and see for ourselves. Yeah. I would say I do like the trauma codes like this better than... I would say this was still more enjoyable than just reading a chapter of the season content or something like that. Did it have the same heights that Haru said? I feel like maybe it was also more personal for me or something. Haru's basically made me cry. So, you know, that is where I would say the story still peaked. But was still pretty good. I also really did not mind that, man, this still basically just insta-kills you. That the Protoss was not part of this. Honestly, it's nicer. I hope they don't forcefully include him everywhere. I know they still want to change the direction and everything. And I guess at least a lot of the Korean player base really wants him to be the main center. And maybe for the main story that's alright, but I hope for something like this that, you know, the characters that are getting thematized about this actually get to shine then. And I mean, that worked kind of well. It felt a bit anticlimactic that we did not get to beat up Haku in a sense. But hey, I guess that is what happened in the story, so I mean, to be fair, Haku did get what was coming for her. This was left. I mean, this is probably where they could show off cool decks and I'm just not using it. To be fair, I already know what she can do. Next time the new character... I assume during the season we won't get trauma codes for the characters. I'm not sure if it is a planned thing to, like... I would very much still enjoy that every time a new character gets released that they instantly get a trauma code. I mean, even if that's, like, the case, they would have to catch up to so many characters at this point. Because, yeah, there's not so many starting characters that did not get a trauma code. But if we only get this instantly for off-seasonal characters, I feel like they will never catch up. It might just be a thing of them being super busy as writers, rewriting the story, and the rest of the team working on more game content. Yeah, I guess we did it. We did it fully then. We get 2 pulls. We also get a cool event thing. Don't we? I know. Yeah. Alright, first we get this. But then we get a cool sticker. Let's go. But yeah, overall this was very enjoyable. Guess we also have the Lucas, which we might do at some point. I feel like this might be better stream than just doing basically my weekly at some point. So we'll do that then. But yeah, we have been playing the game for basically 3 hours. So good point to just say good night. Promo code good. Please give more promo codes. Bye.